Ooh, everybody was a kung fu fighting. Those kicks were fast as lightning. Good day, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of Beardweeds United. Sort of, yeah. I will be here answering some questions, telling some stories. We'll probably get some other people on the panel at some point tonight. Just got back from Ottawa. Did my Ottawa thing, so don't mind the things you can see behind me, like the sheet on the door and all that. I haven't fully cleaned my house. I kind of rushed out of here. I didn't have a lot of time to figure out what I was doing or anything. I was kind of, bang, bang, boom, 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 gone. I wasn't expecting to be going to Ottawa. It just happened. Sadly, I wish it was for a better reason, but it wasn't. Grandmother died, so we had to go. Matriarch of my family, of the McGees, Granny McGee, Nan, very traditionally Irish. So there was a lot of traditional Irish stuff going on. We had 3 weeks. We had the funeral. Both friends of the family and family were invited back after the funeral because they're all family. Traditionally, yeah, your family, whether you're blood or not. Lots of drinking, lots of stories, lots of drinking, lots of stories, lots of eating. There was, you can see on my vlog post, we had a family sing along after the funeral. Yeah, so just the things you would expect. Now, something I did part of the eulogy. I wasn't going to. I really didn't want to, but it's one of those things where I did it because I didn't want to do it, just to fight through my own stupidity with my own problems. If I had just given in, I had just given in. I didn't want to do that. So I did part of the eulogy. I sat there one night, the night after the wakes, writing out what the things that mattered to me about her and what type of things I thought about talking about. And then the day of, I just decided which parts of it I was going to talk about and which parts I wasn't, because there were things I didn't want to admit to in front of people. I'm very good at talking. I'm very good at expressing my feelings when you're not right in front of me. When you're right in front of me, I do have a trouble with it. I do have some problems with it. So it was easy to do it was easy to write, and it's easy to talk about right now. It wasn't easy to say. And for those of you that know what I deal with, what my mental thing is right now, the thing that I'm dealing with, well, one is clinical depression, and the other one I'm not going to say because people get all up in arms in it. But if you know the stuff I'm dealing with, there's an irrational, very irrational fear of rejection and abandonment, and it stops you from doing a lot of things. It stops you from being able to communicate at all, because you're afraid of being rejected or abandoned. It makes you afraid to be yourself, really. And you do everything in your power. You become a chameleon and join into whatever people want you to join into so that you don't have to worry about that. Well, the thing that hurts the most with Granny McGee being gone is she was the one person in this world I never had that feeling with. I knew it didn't matter what I did. It didn't matter what I said. It didn't matter what was wrong with me. It didn't matter what obstacles were in the way of us seeing each other, be it physical or emotional or environmental. It didn't matter what it was. She always loved me unconditionally, and she always tried to do the best for me and wanted me to do the best for her and do the best for the family. So that's the part of it that hurts the most about it. But now we're done with that. Let's get into shit. What's going on here? There's some comments here. Good day, Greg. Yes, there was lots of shenanigans. So my dad is part of a Irish biker club, shall we say now, and they do have a chapter that is connected with them in Ireland. So I did say we were done with this, but we're going to get back into it for a second. So the funeral was very intriguing because, the first few pews were like immediate family, all of her kids, her grandkids, and her great grandkids. The next few pews were the extended family, you know, cousins and stuff like that. Then the next few pews were friends. And then the back 2 pews were filled with Irish bikers. It was a very intriguing time. It really was. They all were harassing my dad that I'm much bigger and sturdier than him and scarier than him, and they wish I could be part of their club as well. But since I'm blind, I can't be. Yeah. So what do we want to talk about, guys? There's 4 of us here. Who's even here? Who's here? Roll call. I know Mr. Angus Wangus is here and Greg. Who else is here? What's the other 2 people? What should we talk about? What questions do you have? What do we want to talk about? What are you guys drinking? I'm going to be drinking tonight. I think I'm going to start with. It's the stuff I reviewed tonight. So I was reviewing them in the Carling Black Label glass. So it's a small glass. So I was able to save some of everything. So I figured, you know what, I'll do some reviews and finish the rest of the bottles upstairs on the live stream. Today we're doing, first beer we're doing is Berry Smooth from the Canada 150. So this is a brew that was done. This was the Alberta brew, and it was done with Last Best and Red Racer. This is a Berliner Weiss, and it's a raspberry lactose Berliner Weiss. I've never had a Berliner Weiss that had lactose added to it until this one, and I must say it actually isn't bad. So yeah, there's that. There's that. Well, that's just it, Greg, right? Bikers do tend to look after their own. They made me a honorary member. I am now one of the friends and family of the club. So though I can't be in the club, I'm still part of the club. Their president came up and did that to me. So that was intriguing, shall I say. Did I get to any breweries the Ottawa way? No, not really. Me and my buddies hit up Big Rig, only because we wanted to go to Tooth and Nail, but Tooth and Nail was closed by the time I would have been. No, we wanted to go to Stray Dog, but Stray Dog would be closed by the time my buddy Steven could get me in Kemptville and get me back to Ottawa. Then we talked about going to Tooth and Nail, but Tooth and Nail was on the entirely opposite side of the city from when you're coming in from Kemptville. So we ended up just hitting up Big Rig on Pinecrest, which I've been to several times. I'm a good friends with Lon there. And we just hit up. Stop fighting over the rib. There's another one right here. Look. There's another bone. Chew that. So we ended up just hitting Big Rig on Pinecrest for the Ottawa breweries. My buddy Jeff ended up going to Crooked Mile to pick me up beers from Crooked Mile, but then his van broke down, so the beers were in his van when he came while we were in Arnprior. We did the Prior when we were in Arnprior, not a brewery, it's just a sports bar. And while we were at the Prior, he was going to drop off the beers to me because he picked up one of everything they had. And they're in his van. He showed up at my house. His mom was the one that brought me home. And he showed up at my house with the beers because he got to his van, got the beers out, got the van towed back to his shop because he's a cabinet maker. Got the van towed back to the shop and showed up at my house with the beers, but his mom had picked me up like 10 minutes before he showed up. We were going to go to Cartwright Springs in Pakenham as well because Cartwright Springs is right near my house as well. But they didn't open up until 11, and Tracy wanted to be on the road at 10. So that happened. Mr. Angus Wangus, your dad had a hat on that said PTSD, but then I could read the fine print underneath, assuming it was humorous. Don't know. I know. So a lot of the buttons on his hat are about head injuries and brain injuries. He's had as many concussions as me. He doesn't remember a lot of things. He lost his last tooth that week, so he's going to get his dentures now. He had 5 teeth left when he had his bike accident a few weeks back, and after the accident, there was 2 teeth left, but they were both basically ripped out, and he's a construction worker and a cheap Irishman, so he was going to wait for them to fall out on their own. He wasn't going to go to a dentist and get them taken care of. So yeah, they both fell out on Thursday. He was excited about that. He was really excited because now he can eat again, and then he's going to go get his dentures, and then he can really eat again. Because right now he has to eat pizza and stuff like that with a knife and fork because he can't actually rip it off. Right, so I was making fun of him all week about the knife and fork and pizza. Yeah, my dad. When we went to the wake, I was in a suit. My aunt was in a suit. All my cousins and all that were all in suits or dresses and stuff. My dad was there in his biker boots, his jeans, a dress shirt, and his colors. He was wearing his colors too, and his hat backwards. But that's my dad, right? Basically, I'm the same type of thing. I wear camo shorts, work boots, and a t-shirt of some type most places I go. But for this, I decided to actually dress up. Um, I'm not going to say it online, but I can tell you the Canadian chapter on here on the chat because I just don't want it to be. I don't want it to be recorded forever, so I'll give you it there. Um, the rules. Rule number one is you don't talk about Fight Club. Rule number two is you don't talk about Fight Club. Yeah, I saw those. I barely saw them because I kept going back and forth from having internet to not having internet there, Greg. But I saw some of them. They all look fairly interesting. Come on, dogs. Watch what you're doing. Watch what you're doing, monsters. Actually, the dogs were amazingly well behaved. I was surprised. For two dogs that ended up, never really being in a car ever, other than going to the vet, and then getting shoved in a car for 6 hours on the way up, and then 5.25 hours on the way down. They did amazing. And also getting shut in a car for a trip from Kentville to Arnprior. And going from house to house. I mean, going from my dad's house in Kentville to my mother's house in Arnprior to my grandmother's house, my grandmother that's still alive's house in Ottawa. When we weren't with them in Kempville, we couldn't leave them in the house because my dad's dog was a rescue from a fighting ring. It was a dog that was trained to be a dog fighter, so we couldn't leave our dogs alone with him. So they ended up going into. He had a little trailer. He has a little 15-foot trailer that he takes camping, and basically that was the dog's pen. He took all the bad stuff out, and we just put them in. They slept on the beds. Yeah, the dogs were very well behaved. I was amazed at how well they did. Yeah, what else? What should we talk about? This beer, the Berry Smooth, really intriguing beer. I can't deny that the lactose flavor coming off on it just tickles the front of the tongue, and it's weird to have lactose in a Berliner Weiss. It really is. Yeah, we've been online for 13 minutes, guys. What should we talk about? I don't want to keep talking about my grandmother and stuff. I really wanted to do something tonight, anything. See, and this is the thing, right? Whenever it comes down to me doing something with my buddies that don't work where I work, they're always like, "Oh, we can't because you don't have weekends off." I've been home Friday night and Saturday night, and now there's excuses why they can't do anything with me tonight and last night. So I mean, it gets frustrating when you're trying to not be locked in your house. I really need to make new friends, is what it comes down to. I really need to go out and interact again, but that's easier said than done for the most part. Well, that's great. I'm glad you enjoy that. I'm glad you enjoy that. What are you looking at, Boris? What are you looking at? What are you looking at? I hope not. I hope I'm not your father. Because if you're old enough to be on here, that means I was having sex without realizing it when I was a very young person. Because, you know, if you're going to have sex, you really want to know what happened. You really do. You want to know what happened. Even if it was horrible sex, you still want to know what happened. Well, especially if it's consensual. If it's not consensual, you probably don't want to know what happened. Well, maybe you still. I don't know. I'm going to stop talking about that. So what are you up to, Mr. Angus Wangus? What's going on in Port tonight? I was trying to get out to Brimstone tonight. They had some concerts going, and they have some new cherry. They have a new cherry porter that I really wanted to get my hands on. Okay, we're going to go on to another beer while we're chatting here. Mill Street Stonemason Ale, which is an English bitter at 4.8% alcohol. So it would be it wouldn't be an ordinary bitter. That would be the lower end. It would be a special bitter. That's from you trying to come and see me. Your car died completely. That's horrible. I'm sorry. What did you end up picking up? What are your new wheels? Come on, we don't have this much of a lag. What's your new wheels? What's your new wheels, sir? What are your new wheels? Oh, fuck. Wojciech has my compression sleeves. They came right after I left for Ottawa. They said they would have been here Friday, which I wasn't worried about. I'm like, okay, if they get here Friday, I pick them up. Everything's okay. So I left work on Tuesday morning. Got home. We left really early Tuesday morning to head up to Ottawa. And as I'm heading up to Ottawa, I get the ding that my package is delivered. I'm like, motherfucker, it's Halloween. There's going to be people on my porch. And so I'm making mad text messages to different people trying to get them to pick it up for me. So Boychuk ended up picking it up. And I got home. I did my workout yesterday. I did my workout today. My arm is just throbbing because I still don't have my compression sleeves to try and help my elbow not die. 2017 Ford Focus hit hatchback. Wow, you went all out, sir. You went big, and by big I mean you just went and got a new car. Could have gotten a 2018 variant this year, but the 2017s, if you bought it brand new, would have been on clear out prices. So I mean that would have worked too. Good day, Laura Robinson. How are you tonight? Oh, when we were at the Prior, Kirk is the bartender at the Prior when I used to live in Arm Prior. So he was my bartender. Fuck. I would have started going there when I was 15 years ago. He used to serve me, and I've been gone from the Prior. I haven't been back in Arm Prior itself in a decade. We walked into the Prior. I sat down. We made our orders. I ordered my beers. They bring some beers to the table, and then the server comes back up and goes, "Kirk told me to bring these to you," and she puts down like six whiskey sours, and I just started laughing, and I had to get Bubba to get out of the way so I could go up and talk to him because what I used to do to him is whenever I would, and back when I was 20, I was back when I was 19 and 20, I was medicating with alcohol. I don't do that anymore. I mean, I'm drunk maybe once a year now, but back then that's what I was doing. And what I would sit there and I would order 3 whiskey sours, and he'd put the first 2 down and go to pour the third one. By the time he got back with the third one, I'd have the first 2 gone and be like, "Yeah, 3 more, please." We would do that for a while, and so he sent the whiskey sours over because he knew my buddies drank it too, and I just thought it was hysterical that after 15 years he still remembered that I drank those. I mean, here's the funny thing, right? I have people at my work that, and by people I mean customers at my work, that I've served myself for almost a decade. And it's been a while since I've been in the high end room, but I went back in the high end room, and these people are looking at me going, "Are you new?" I'm a large tattoo covered albino with fucking gauges in my ears. How the fuck don't you recognize me? And then him, who hasn't seen me or talked to me in 15 years, fucking remembers my order. I think that was pretty cool. They give anyone credit, $0 down. Yeah, they wouldn't give me credit. Yeah. So yeah, we've talked about my trip to Ottawa. We've talked about my grams. We've talked about the prior. Answered the question about whether or not I hit up any Ottawa breweries while I was up there. I should have some beers from the Crooked Mile here come next week. They're going to get mailed to me by my buddy Jeff. He's going to mail them down. Tracy almost stopped in Peterborough at a few breweries there because she's like, "Hey, do you want to go here?" I'm like, "Tracy, you just want to get to Niagara Falls to have your birthday party, so just go to Niagara Falls. Don't worry about that stuff. We can deal with that later on." I don't even know if anything else is really going on right now. Shift bid at work on Tuesday, so I'll find out what's going on for the next at least year of my life come Tuesday. Whatever the shift bid is, it won't start until the January. It won't start until January because they can't mess up New Year's Eve. But yeah, so our shift bid is Tuesday. The Tuesday after that, we'll get our packages for vacation picks, and the Tuesday after that, we'll start vacation picks. So I should know for sure what's going on with everything next year by then. I'm still trying to find sponsors for the beer festival. If I can find sponsors for the beer festival, it'll still happen. If I can't do it this year because I can't front the money this year due to what I have to pay out to my ex-wife, and just having my income and not hers here too. So I can't float things this year. So I have to find some local companies that want to sponsor it and get some advertising and stuff. I'm so far planning on doing 3 Highland Games next year. That still matters on how things go for training. I mean, physically, I'm getting to the point where I could do it, but I haven't actually done a Highland Games in 15 years. So knowing the technique to throw the hammer, I mean, once I pick up the Highland hammer, I'll probably be able to do it again pretty quickly. But it's something that I haven't done in 15 years, so I do need to get the equipment to practice with. The only place that makes the equipment is in the U.S., so we'll see what goes on with that. I am so far signed up for Fergus, Maxville, and Glengarry. So we'll go from there. Just answered that for you. Fergus, Maxville, and Glengarry are the ones that I'm signed up for right now. If I can get the time off, I think I'll do Georgetown as well. Georgetown doesn't do all the events. They don't do the light/heavy. They just let me turn my phone down. Yeah, so they don't do. They don't do the light/heavy. They do the light stone, not the heavy stone, and they do the heavy hammer, not the light hammer, and they do the heavy weight, not the light weight. So that one will be easier to do because I don't have to bring as much stuff with me. And the sheaf throw, they only do the 20-pound sheaf throw. So again, it's even less money to get into it because I don't have to bring all the stuff and I don't have to pay for all the events. The guy that makes the equipment will custom paint the stuff too. So I'm going to have to find out what it costs to ship it up to Canada. That's the problem, is it's coming from the US. If it was in Canada, it wouldn't be as bad, but it's going to be an exponential shipping rate to get like 400 pounds of stuff up here. It's going to be a small box because, you know, all the stuff is pretty small, but it's going to cost a lot. Which town are you in, Brad? Most of the ones that I'm doing are fairly far away from me. There's nothing really close to Niagara Falls that does it. Like Glengarry and Maxville are both up near my hometown. So, I mean, they're both like 6 hours away. Georgetown, you're looking at like 3 hours. Fergus, I'm looking at about 2.5. See, Cambridge wasn't on the list. I was looking on the Ontario Highland Games page, and Cambridge wasn't on the list, but I'll have to look into it. Dates matter, though, because it matters if I can get the time off and if I can end up finding somebody to get me there. Again, now that I'm single, I do have the problem of getting places, especially since I have these two monsters, and I'm going to have to be bringing a couple 100 pounds worth of equipment with me. So we'll see what happens. So I'm going to guess Laura Robinson left because she's never answered what's up with her. Cambridge, eh? I know that, you know, Kitchener, Waterloo, Cambridge area was big on German stuff and sometimes Polish stuff. I didn't know they had a big Scottish population around. Because I mean, that's really, well, Scottish and Irish population. Because I mean, that's really what chooses where those games end up going, is the Celtic population. So my buddy Jeff, because Jeff knows my grandmother and all that. So he was at the house after the funeral for the traditional Irish family funeral events, and you know, he's sitting there talking to the guys that were in my dad's biker club, and he's like, "Hey, can I join?" And they're like, "Well, what's your last name?" And he tells them, they're like, "No!" He's like, "What? It's Welsh." "No!" Right? And two of them have very thick Irish drawls yelling at him. He's like, "What? Welsh or Celtic? Fuck you!" It was pretty good. He was doing it just to piss them off, and it worked. So on my next beer, well, my next half beer or third of beer, this one's a third. Actually, this one's not even a third. It's even less than that. Is from the 150 again. This is the Beer de Sea Honey Ale from the Across the Nation with Red Racer, and it's Red Racer and Prince Edward Island Brewing Company. So let's just pop that off. Let's pour it in here. Why am I getting text messages now? They want to fucking talk to me earlier. Anyone want to join? Anyone want to come in and talk with us? There's 5 of you watching. I'll give you guys join links if you want it. You can come in and play. Come in and play. I do have a set of videos to well, not a set, but a portion of video as well to post up online later. That is another shooting the shit segment, but it was after the prior visit, and it was with my buddy Bubba and my buddy Jeff as we're driving back to Brayside. Well, and on our way back to Brayside, we dropped Jeff off, and then it's just me and Bubba shooting the shit for the rest of the way back to Brayside. But yeah, it it was a fun little shoot the shit while they made fun of the way I grew up. If it only goes on accent, then you're a shoe-in. Yeah, I suppose you would be, eh? It goes on a little bit more than accent, but I mean they were just harassing him because he wasn't Scottish or Irish. It's really more an Irish thing than a Scottish thing, but they'll let Scots in. They deadpan refuse to let in the Welsh. Just looking here for your email. There we go. I found it, Mr. Angus Wangus. It's coming to you. It's coming to you now. I'm sending it right as we speak. Bang, 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 bang. And my headphones are right there, so everything will be okay. Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? My dad had his Harley. He actually was really lucky. I mean, he took a big spill when he had his accident last few weeks back, and yeah, things happened with that like they would normally happen once one biker gets knocked off the road and the guy runs and he's with the rest of his biker friends. But his Harley went down. He said he was really lucky that it was going to be like a 4-day trip because his saddlebags were really, really big, and his saddlebags took a lot of the brunt force and did a lot of the skidding for him. His Harley only had $965.33. He remembers the number exactly worth of damage to it. So he was happy about that. His saddlebags are gone. His windshield was gone. One of the throttle on the left hand was completely destroyed. He fucked up his right hand something fierce, but he was happy about that because he's a lefty. He's always been sad that I wasn't a lefty, and he harasses me about it. And I'm like, you know what? In all honesty, there, Dad, I could have been a lefty my entire time growing up because I'm legally blind, so I don't write very well with either hand, and it just might have been that they forced me to use my right so often that I used my right more. I could have naturally been a lefty and not known it, and we wouldn't have known it because of just how horrible my writing is anyway. So my dad wanted to keep Boris, and my stepsister wanted to keep Helga. Then when they met my friend Glenn wanted to keep Boris. My mother wanted to keep Helga. Tracy wanted to keep them both. She told me she was just going to drop me off and keep my dogs. It was intriguing. They hated Duke. Duke hated them, but they got along with Jackson, which is Jeff's Bernese mountain dog. But yeah, Diesel was a boxer bull mastiff, and again, he was being trained by a loser in Kempville to be a dogfight dog. And the dog's probably really lucky that my dad was around because it would have been euthanized. My dad's used to dealing with aggressive dogs, so he kept Diesel. Diesel was the only dog we had to keep them separated from the entire time. Every other dog up there were great with ours, well, with mine. But yeah, Diesel couldn't be around them at all. Diesel even hates his own family. So I mean, Diesel's Diesel, right? If you knock on the door, the dog will jump through the glass of the front door to get you. So there's signs everywhere. Do not knock. If you look him in the eye, he goes into attack mode. If you he is a dog that he's just lucky that my dad loves animals the way he does. Put that down there. Doesn't everyone make fun of sheep shaggers though? I mean, I'm not even trying to be a smartass. Doesn't everybody make fun of the sheep shaggers? Bring that to work with me tomorrow. Got to remember to do that. I have a tendency of not remembering to do the things I have to do, and then I get in shit at work. Helga, quiet. Hey, come here. Come here, girl. It's okay. It's okay. So, yeah. It's okay. Good girl. Good girl, yes. Yes. What do you want? Are you jealous that I'm petting your sister? Is that what's going on here? Oh, don't pet her, pet me. I'm your firstborn. You're supposed to love me. You're supposed to love me. You're supposed to love me, Daddy. You're a good boy. That very true, I'm going to guess, is about everybody making fun of the sheep shaggers. Because, I mean, that is the very true part of it. What do we have going on here? 2 viewers. Everybody left. Nobody wants to talk to me, but they all want to leave. I mean, you want to come here and you want to chat. That's what this is about. It's about chatting. It's the weekend. I have nothing to do. You have nothing to do. Let's chat. Let's talk. Let's interact. That's what this is. This is an interaction. An interaction. You have to act for me to react. Okay? You have to act for me to react. Fuckers. You're always getting tired, sir. You're always getting tired. You are just a weakling. No, I don't actually think that, but I'm going to tell you that anyway. Royal Mass doesn't like head. There's something wrong and naughty about that stuff. Is Mr. What's this? I have to change computer stuff. Give me a second, please. I think we can do that, Mr. Angus Wangus. I think we can do that. I'm gonna have to take a pee soon, though, just so you know. Just so this is one of my favorite cups to do reviews in because it's small and it's nostalgic, right? It used to be gold rimmed, but most of the gold is worn off now. But I mean, it's Carling Black Label. What else was there? There's an old Vienna one. There is a Molson Export. There is there's one or two more from this company, this style. One of the bankers at my work gave them to me. They were in her dad's basement, and she's like, "Hey, Chad would enjoy these," and I'm like, "Yes, I do. Thank you so very much." Pinky up. Hey, quiet down back there. Come here. What you doing? What are you barking about? What are you barking about, you old lady? You. Oh, my big old lady. What you barking about? What you barking about, eh? What's wrong? What's bothering you? What's bothering you? Tell your dad. What's bothering you? Hey? What's bothering you? Say hi to Greg. He likes German Shepherds. Say hi, Greg. I'm not fully German Shepherd. I have English Mastiff in me, so hopefully you can forgive me about that. But I'm still a good girl. I'm still a good girl. Yes, I am. I'm a good girl. Okay, you ready? Yeah, actually, I did get my dad to drink Old Vienna. He actually says he likes it, and that's going to be the beer he buys from now on. I didn't expect that. I didn't actually expect him to like it. He just wanted a cheap beer, and he was drinking. What was he drinking? He was drinking Coors Light, and I'm like, no, man, you don't drink Coors Light. And yeah, so I got him on Old Vienna. He likes it. He likes it a lot. So yeah, less money than Coors Light, except he did buy the $48 2-4 because he bought the tall boys. He bought the 473 milliliter King cans instead of the bottles or the 355 milliliter cans. Both of which would have been a lot cheaper than buying Coors Light, but this was more expensive. But at the same time, you got almost double the amount. So yeah. Mr. Angus Wangus is going to fight with his computer for the next 5 minutes, but when he gets it, he'll get it. Happens all the time. Yeah, Helga is a pretty girl. She is a very good dog. She does have the shepherd bark at everything thing going now too, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Can you hear me now, buddy?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Right on.
What you doing, sir?
Hello, sir. Oh, you know, eating peanuts and drinking beer.
Eating peanuts and drinking beer.
Listening to you.
Yeah, nobody really does that.
I do, man. You're very personable, if I may say.
Unless your name is Christy, and then I'm not.
No,
I was very non-personable.
I'm not Christy.
My next beer is going to be drinking the rest of this one. This is from Fairweather in Hamilton. This is their Swoon Plus, which is the Oaked Cherry Saison. And I did just spill some of it on me as I was taking the cap off. What are you drinking tonight, sir?
Oh, I finished off my good ones, well, according to me anyways, for a poor guy. I had some Guinness extra stouts in the fridge, which didn't survive long. And now I've had my low budget beers, OV and Upper Canada Dark Ale.
Well, OV is a beer I love anyway, so that's all good. Good night, Gregory. Have a wonderful evening. I'm not a mad Irishman. I'm very, very happy. Very happy. I can't wait till I get to shave. That's what I'm counting down to. When I'm done my Santa stuff and I can shave.
Oh, Rhino, I gotta say, man, I watched your video today, right?
Yes. Which one?
So,
I posted like 7 today.
Yeah, no, the vlog or whatever it's called. But there was a moment in it when you had your Halloween costume together and you had everything dyed blue, man. It was just awesome.
Oh, yeah, I was the Blue Meanie. He was a wrestler from the 90s.
Okay, see, I didn't know. I assumed that exactly that, but I didn't know who that was. But I thought you whatever it was, you nailed it.
I actually I posted it on Instagram, and I tagged Brian Heffron in it. Brian Heffron is the guy that was the Blue Meanie, and he sent me a message saying I look better at it than he ever did. But when he was doing it, he was like 380 pounds and was wearing Daisy Dukes and a crop top. So
the actual guy who was the wrestler messaged you, you're saying?
yeah, I sent him an Instagram picture of it. Well, I tagged him in my Instagram picture.
Oh, right on.
He still wrestles very, very, very infrequently, but he still does it every once in a while. He's in much better shape now.
It was great, man. What was that, like hairspray in your hair or beard or whatever?
No, I actually I bought hair wax.
Not that I'm into primping up with hairspray or nothing.
No, I bought colored hair wax, and it actually worked so well that I might actually buy some other colors and just fuck around with it every once in a while. And it washed out fairly easily too. I didn't expect it to wash out as easily because, I got home at 3 a.m. and me and Jeff were to be on the road at 4 a.m. and I had to wash it all out before we got on the road because I was going right to the wake. So it washed out well.
It was stellar, dude.
Yeah, it didn't run at all at work. The face paint did. The black paint around the eyes ran a few times, and I had to touch it up. But the blue hair did not run at all. It was awesome.
Yeah, I saw that. It held up after you got home from work there. I was telling my buddy last week, they were inviting me to their Halloween party, and I was trying to explain nicely that I don't celebrate Halloween or dress up or do anything like that anymore. But I did happen to say, though, that if I were to, I definitely 100% would dress up as the Green Bastard.
The Green Bastard from Trailer Park Boys?
Yeah, man, from Parts Unknown.
Yeah, I mean,
so we have that in common.
I think the Green Bastard was a thieving of the Blue Meanie. I really think they stole the Blue Meanie idea.
With the long body alien match between oh my goodness, I can't even remember those guys. Yeah, man. So I'm all set. I can maybe attempt to come and do a beer review with you sometime again.
Awesome. This Thursday night, I actually have something planned, so Wednesday would be my only other day.
Cool. Well, we'll be in touch. Hey, I won the. Do you play Pro Line at all with any sports?
No, I wish I did because I'm usually pretty good at it. But no, I don't gamble.
I generally don't gamble either. Like if I went to the casino, I would probably just sit at the bar. I really wouldn't gamble. Like I'm not into slots or maybe blackjack a tiny bit. But I love to bet on football. And I've sort of gotten back into it after having gotten away from it for a few years. But I used to calculate my own point spreads and do very well, like on Pro Line, really on the point spreads and whatever. The last year I played, I made about $2,200, right? Just sort of as a hobby. And so I've been back into it this year. And this past week, I won the pool, right?
Yep.
Which generally is thousands and thousands of dollars when people win. It's quite a thing. Which I've won before, and it was the lowest ever payout in Pro Line pool history, right? And it was $700. And so I won this past week again. And it beat the old record that I was part of, actually. And this week it was only $86, man. I was so disappointed. Just had to share that with you. I know how you're, I don't know if I'm Irish. I really don't know, or English or Scottish, or what is the name Gibson?
I would assume English, but let's see what the internet says.
Yeah, I've looked it up before, but I don't really believe anything But anyway, maybe it's some sort of thing. I love the having a few bucks on the football game.
Yes, says English, but again, who really knows what it actually is?
Yeah. Actually, like the the best thing I could find when I researched that side of my family was that it was a Melungeon, which actually is like a southern U.S., like Kentucky and Tennessee sort of hillbilly um, clan, mixed races.
See, we have 12 generations of McGee traced back. So we were actually traced back to a couple generations before the name actually appeared. We can't get all the way back yet, but we're still trying.
Yeah.
But we even know what county we're from in Ireland. So I won't tell that online because Greg might get angry because we're not from the same county.
You'll have to have a bare knuckle fist fight in the road.
And then my mother's side, they have 10 or 15 generations back. I got to read the book again, but they know where the family originated from. They know what county in Ireland they're from, and they even know there was one Scottish person that was in the family too, and they know exactly where he's from. So it's intriguing because we had an author in my mother's side of the family who did the genealogy of the entire family.
Yeah.
And I have my dog's light here.
Oh yeah, I saw those in the video. That's a good idea, actually, if you're out in the country like that.
Well, that's the only time I had them on them was when we were at my dad's and my mother's,
Yeah.
because they're both, well, my dad's isn't as bad. As long as they don't go past the trees, nothing can happen to them, because past the trees they're going towards the highway. But if they're behind the trees, all they can find is the farmer's field. Run through the farmer's field as much as you fucking want. I don't care.
Yeah. No, they looked like they were burning off some energy. It was probably a quiet ride home.
Yeah, they when they were running through the farmer's field, apparently, like the first day we were there was still dry. And my dad called me outside. He's like, "Oh my God, you got to see this!" And I come out and I'm like, "What?" They were done running by then. He's like, "Oh, you missed it. The dirt was just flying." They were running through the field, and apparently there was just a dust cloud following them.
That's funny.
And you could see where they were running too. Like there was divots in the entire farmer's field where they hit.
Well, I think I used to have a Great Dane, and boy, he was my boy, but he was like that. We'd go over to my neighbor's house and we'd be talking with my neighbor, and he'd go over and lay a steamer right in his front yard and then kick the dirt up, behind him, and just like golf divots coming out of the yard. Loved him, man. He was my boy.
Helga, there's nobody here. There's nobody here. Stop barking. Fucking German shepherds. Come here, girl. The things she took from the English Mastiff side of her are not the things I was hoping she'd take. Basically, she got the stubbornness and the unwillingness to jump. Those are the two things she took from the English Mastiff. Not the quietness or anything like that, but those two.
Hey, I got to say again, I saw her jump up on the bed there behind you tonight while you've been on.
Yeah, she basically does it when I'm not looking, and then if I'm calling her up, she doesn't do it.
Just like a woman.
Yeah, it's funny. Like at my dad's house, she was jumping up on the bed that I was sleeping on at my dad's house all night until Janet was downstairs, and Janet's my stepmother. And, Janet's looking at her, and she's trying to get up, right? She has her front paws on the bed, and she's trying to lift her back legs up, but they won't get up, so Janet lifts her up. I'm like, Janet, don't do that. She can get up. She's just fucking with you.
Hey, man, I gotta grab another beer, and I'm gonna see if I can get my camera plugged in.
All right, you grab another beer. I'm going to drink this. There's 4 people watching us. Why don't you guys talk in? Chime in here. This is story time and question and answer time. What do you guys want to talk about? Do you have questions? Usual questions for me: is my pubes all white? Yes, other than around my butthole. Yeah, you're welcome for that one. Oh, Troll of the Week today. Troll of the Week today was on the Laker Ice video. And I was doing the Laker Ice video with my one of my good friend Victoria's her husband Jeff. Now he's deaf, so he has the stutter and all that. What the hell is this, Nick? You ever had any Sly? I have had some Sly Fox brews. 1 second. I got to remember which ones I had. They were not they're not beers that I gave a 9 or up on or a 3 and under on, so I don't fully remember them. So I just got to quickly look here. I've had 2 or 3 of them though. You get to look at the top of my head quickly not quickly, but while I look at this, you get to look at the top of my head. I had Route 113. And I remember liking it. I didn't love it, but I liked it. And the 360 IPA, I believe I've had as well. And it was another one that I didn't love, but I liked. I really wish I could have tried the O'Reilly Stout, just because I love Irish stouts. The O'Reilly Stout and the Royal Weiss are the two on their list of things they have that look like they would intrigue me the most. But they were an intriguing brewery, and I had them canned. They were both canned, both the beers I had from them. It looks like there's a bunch of different beers too. The Christmas beer, the Oktoberfest is not one I've had, but that was an intriguing looking can. Just quickly looking through here, if there was anything else. Just quickly looking at the list. The Odyssey looks intriguing. The SRT Alt, what is this one? Sweet Hop. No, I haven't had that. So we're going to take the dogs out quick to pee, as most of you that know that watch this, watch the live feeds normally, even when they're live feeds with everybody else. I'll turn on the... good day, Scoots. What's going on with you? I'm going to turn on my cell phone so I can take you guys outside with me while I let the dogs go pee, because I don't need any peas in the bed or anything. So let's do this, and let's do this, and let's do this. And maybe we should turn some sound on in case Mr. Angus Wangus comes back. Bang, 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 bang. Video call. Turn off the sound on here. Alrighty. Let's go take these dogs outside. Yeah, you know what's going on, eh? Let's go pee-pee. Come on. Come on, boy. Come on, Helga. Come on, Boris. Let's go. And I may or may not be peeing off the back porch. I'm not going to tell you. You got to figure it out. Go pee-pee. Go on, guys. What are you barking at? What are you barking at? Hey? Go inside? Go inside? Let's go. Go on. Get in there. Yeah, my house isn't really clean yet. I just got home. Started doing some cleaning. That's clean laundry that has to go downstairs. Is like stuff from my Halloween costume and beer festival shirts and stuff. I keep all my beer shirts downstairs. Some stuff on the table that has to get taken care of. I got a bouquet of flowers today from work. Now I appreciate it. Send me a bouquet of flowers for a sympathy loss thing. Sure, I appreciate it. There they are. You know, some Irish moss and stuff in there because, why wouldn't there be? But I appreciate that. But if you were going to spend like $100 on a flower thing, just give me the $100. I appreciate it, but that would do better for me than this. Again, appreciate it, but yeah, it was just a weird thing. It was a weird thing. Um, oh, I got some beers. I got some beers in Ottawa at the beer store when my dad bought his first case of old Vienna stuff I can't get down here from Took Brewing. They're Took Brewing's Red, Took Brewing's Honey, uh, Whitewater Brewing, which is the brewery known for making Farmer's Daughter and Farmer's Daughter melons, the Midnight Stout, and the Whistling Paddler. Style is the Whistling Paddler. English style ale, okay. And lastly, the other beer I found at the beer store there that I've never had is Not Your Father's Root Beer that everybody in the U.S. talks to me about. So, yeah, I have those to look at some point. I'm going to bring them downstairs and add them to the pile of beers that I haven't gone to. That's why I decided that if I was doing a live stream tonight, I'd do some reviews first so that I actually go through some of the beers that are down there because they're just never ending. They're just never ending. They go on and on and on. What are you doing, Boris? What are you doing? What you doing? Okay, I gotta turn on the sound and everything. Good boy. Oh, I just gotta. Guess I'm gonna have to read it at some point. I see your microphone's back on. You back there, Mr. Angus Wangus? I can't hear you at all, to be honest. Can you guys hear me? I can't hear him. What else do we have here? From Scoot Circus, not much happening, just spending some quiet time for the evening now. Yeah, see, I wanted to go out, Scoots. I really did. I don't have Saturday nights off ever. I never have Saturday nights off. You can't hear me. Can anyone hear me? Hello? 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 Okay, so it shows that my microphone's working right now. I can't hear anything from Mr. Angus Wangus. I don't think he'll have the chat window open or anything, so I'm going to send him a quick email here, and then I'm going to get back to my story. I'm just going to send him a quick email. Send him a quick little email saying, Randolph, you don't fucking work right now. I almost spelled here wrong because, I'm drinking and I'm on meds and I'm stupid and I'm Irish. So almost spelled that wrong. Anyway, back to what I was doing. Back to what I was saying anyway. Oh, wait, he isn't here. Yeah, so I wanted to go out tonight. Again, I don't have Saturday nights off ever. And earlier tonight, I did tell the story about how all my buddies usually give me the grief that the reason we don't hang out is I don't have weekends off, and they do because I work in hospitality. So my days off are in the middle of the week. I'm still on a bereavement day today. I got 4 of them because of travel and everything else, and I got home early, and yeah, so I'm bereaving right now. But I wanted to go out. I wanted to get out of the house. I wanted to get my mind off things. So yesterday I sent out a message to all my buddies in the area that have weekends off. I'm like, can we do something either today or tomorrow? I need to get out of the house, and I don't want to go out alone. I want to be with the people that matter to me. And I think my grandmother going made me want to be with people that matter to me even more, because that's all that mattered to her was family. And in pure Irish tradition, family isn't necessarily just blood. It's the people you bring into your life. That's your family. And I got first off no for Friday, and then no for today. And I'm like, and I sent them all a message. I'm like, okay, so I'm not angry that you guys aren't able to come out. We all have our own lives, whatever. But don't give me the bullshit that it's only because I don't have weekends off. Because when I do have weekends off, and anytime it happens that I have a weekend off, you guys all fucking have an excuse as to not why we can't do anything. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm not going to go across the street to Whiskey Nick's and drink there. Last time I was drinking there, I got roofied. I'm not going to go up the street to fucking to Cool Hand Luke's and drink there, because the last time I drank at Cool Hand Luke's, I had a gun pulled on me. I'm not going to go to the Casbah and drink there because it's not just not where I'm going to drink. And I'm not going to walk to the movie theater and watch a movie alone because that's just loserish. So this is where I'm at. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just having a quiet evening chatting with you guys. I have a text message that I have to read at some point, so I'm going to have to turn off my camera while I read that, because you guys get to look at me like this. But yeah, I'm not gonna. I do have an LCBO order coming. My LCBO order has 11 beers. I haven't had 10 of them. I'm going to tell you guys what's coming anyway, even though I'm going to do an unboxing video. But anyway, I have the Lord of Lupulin American Pale Ale. Now, I've had Lord of Lupulins. I've had Lord of Lupulin before, but not the APA. I've had their just pale ale. And they use lupulin powder in all their beers, so it's fun to try the stuff. Collective Arts Project Sour Harvest Saison. Now, last year they did a sour pumpkin ale, so I'm thinking the Sour Harvest Saison is basically the same thing, but we'll find out. Walkerville Geronimo IPA. Now, I've heard very bad things about it, but you don't get many Walkerville beers out here, so it's something to try. Kitchissippi Bristol Stout. That's the first time I've ever seen it on the online store for the LCBO, so I jumped on that. Abe Herb's Hefeweizen, the Das Spritzhaus. Timmerman's Framboise Lambic, a beer I've had, but I like, so I'm going to get it again. Lake of Bays Night Watcher Oatmeal Stout. Les Brasseurs Apocalypse, Roundhouse Kick Imperial Stout, which is coming from Germany. I've never heard of the brewery or anything. Central City's Imperial Pumpkin Ale, and I've had an Imperial Pumpkin Ale by them before, and it was an expensive bottle, but there was so few pumpkin ales out this year that I decided to get it. And then Boulevard's Funkier Pumpkin, and I got that as well. So yeah, we're going to see how that stuff goes. Hopefully all right. So I found out that my mother's new boyfriend, and most of you that have been around for a while know how many times my mother's been married. I'm not going to say that online here because she'd get angry if she found out. Yeah, I've had the 90, I've had the 60, and I've had the 120. Of them all, I think 90 was my favorite for the Dogfish Head. But anyway, what I was saying is, so my mother told me that her new boyfriend, his daughter, watches my hot sauce reviews and all that, and it made me giggle. I don't know how old his kids are at all. I don't know anything about them. She tried to tell me, and I didn't really pay much attention, because between boyfriends and husbands, this was like man number 32. So I just didn't care. I haven't really talked to her in 6 years, so I don't really care what's going on in her love life. I'm trying to forgive her for a lot of the transgressions that happened in our younger days, and I'm trying to make amends, because losing the patriarch of my dad's family made me want to do things better. But I don't know if I even care. Good evening, Al. What's going on? Why didn't you want to go out with me, Al? You don't like me?
Can you hear me, Rhino?
Yes, I can hear you now, sir.
Oh, okay, cool. Sorry.
I think Al was just angry that I didn't make him a fork bracelet. I made this fork bracelet at the Prior. I was sitting at my table, and I bent it out. I put it on my wrist. And when I was talking to Kirk, he's like, "Hey, I really like your bracelet. That's very artistic." I'm like, "Yeah, it's one of your forks." And he just looked at me and he's like, "Fuck, I forgot you used to do that." He's like, you didn't do it to our knives, did you? I'm like, no, I'm not strong enough to do the knives anymore. Give me a few more months, and when I come back next time, I'll be able to do the knife again. That's actually when I lived on my own. That's how I got my cutlery. I would go to like a Chinese buffet, and I would bend all the spoons and forks around my arms, and then put my sleeves back down and leave, and then bend them back to normal when I got home. Yeah, so I was doing. I enjoyed stuff like that. What's from chillaxing here? Next time, message me. Not on Facebook much. What is up tonight? Nothing. I just had a Saturday night off, so I wanted to do something. I got home from the funeral. I didn't want to be in the house, and now I'm in the house drinking, which isn't what I wanted to. I didn't care if I drank. I just didn't want to do it in the house. I mean, I don't have a problem drinking in the house, but I didn't want to do it tonight, basically. So one of the things we found out when we were at my aunt's house doing our sing-alongs and all that, my grandmother lived with my aunt for a while. The last time I was at my grandmother's house, well, my grandmother at my aunt's house, it was after my buddy Trevor's Stag and Doe, and I, as the dumb Irishman I am, outdrank everybody at the Stag and Doe. I went back to the house, I went into the shower, and I puked everywhere, like everywhere in the bathroom. It was up the walls, like 5 feet up the walls, everything. I woke up completely naked in the great room, just laying on the floor. Yeah. So and then my dad was sleeping in the great room too, apparently just to make sure I didn't choke to death on puke throughout the night. And it was what it was. Yeah, yeah. So my grandmother yelled at me for an hour in the morning about how you are an adult now, you're married, you're about to have kids, you can't do shit like this, you stupid idiot, you have to behave yourself. And I'm like, hey, wait a second, you didn't make my dad behave himself. And she's like, yeah, that's right, I made mistakes with him, I'm doing it right with you. So I hear you wanted to live and be free. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. I have you on my cell phone. I could have texted you. I texted a few people tonight. I forgot everybody that was on there though. Sorry, I just gotta respond to this text message because it's from my actual aunt. What else should we talk about? What else is going on? Gonna watch any TV or movies tonight there, Al? Anything going on? What about you there, Mr. Angus Wangus? Do you have any movies or TV you enjoy?
Um, I haven't had cable TV or TV in general for like 6 or 7 years. I got rid of my TV when I realized that I could watch any NFL game on the computer for free every week, every game. You know what I mean? And following that, I figured out I could watch any sporting event in the world. Like literally, it's crazy, man. The internet is just crazy for free. So, you know, and then I started to realize that all I had on playing in the background all day was CNN, and I started to figure out that CNN is crap propaganda, like all of them, you know. And so I canceled it all. Threw my cell phone in the canal.
Oh yeah, I know about the cell phone in the canal. You told me about that one.
And yeah, man, I am like the last dinosaur. I don't have a cell phone. I don't have TV, but I do watch a lot on the internet, right? Sports. I like to watch snooker. If I plug my camera in, you'll see I got this crazy, what's his name? Ronnie O'Sullivan look going. But yeah, you know, I whatever. That's what I watch. I do watch. I will say though, once a year, I'll watch all the Soprano episodes in a row. It'll take like a couple weeks, I guess, watching 3 or 4 or 5 episodes in an evening. And also once a year, I will watch all of the Trailer Park Boy episodes in a row, which again takes days.
Alrighty, what do we have here in the comments? Al was spent the evening enjoying some treats and great tunes. What tunes are great to you, Al? What were you listening to? And I don't eat treats anymore. It's the reason why my face is getting thinner, because I'm actually doing the right things. My diet was actually going pretty good on my 4 days off while I was up at the funeral and all that, until I found the deep fried cheese curds, and then things went bad. They went south real fast. Visit the God. Yo, what's up? Nothing at all, sir. What's up with you? What's up with you? What do we have here? Cable cutter as well. I do like Graves and Mr. Robot. Yeah, see, I'm a cable cutter as well, but I do have an Android box, so I do watch whatever the fuck I want to watch down there on that. Right now, it's basically the Orville and the Walking Dead. Every once in a while, something else. But those are and Z Nation, because I love zombies. Mr. Robot is another one that I did like. I just haven't been watching it lately. Have you had Mad Dog 357 Gold from Chris Lewis? I have not had the gold. I've had a bunch of Mad Dog 357s, but I do not remember having the gold. I have a box of hot sauces downstairs I have to get to. They're going to be something I get to soon enough. And it's been so long since I've actually done a hot sauce review that they're probably going to be fairly hot for me, because I've not been in practice. For Al Ohm, old movies mostly. If I watch anything, or documentaries, incredibly boring. Yeah, the documentaries are boring to most people, but I do enjoy them. Scoot Circus, no TV either. Play on the computer. When he got out of the mental health ward, he had to learn what's happening in the world. He's been learning for just over a year on YouTube, watching, and some news channels. Yeah. And Al Ohm was listening to Twiddle, Stompin' Tom, The Hip, and Damian Marley. And Al is a hot sauce fanatic because there's no carbs. I love myself some hot sauce too. It's just I haven't done the super hots lately. Like I always have sriracha going. I always have the Green Envy from Mad Dog going. I always have a couple there. Like I always have some El Yucateco sauces, and always have some what the fuck is the there's a whole bunch I always have going, but none of them are super hot. The super hots are all just waiting downstairs for me to review, and once I open them, then I'll eat them. Until then, I do apologize, people. I don't like doing this, but again, things happened in my family, so I just have to answer this when it comes in.
I'd like to say I like documentaries too, man.
There's a lot of documentaries I've enjoyed over the years. I've actually been in a documentary, so I can't say I don't like them, right? Because I was in one, and I was in Straight Up, the issue of alcohol in Ontario.
Oh, damn, that's creepy.
Yeah, see, I love Ghosts and Reapers. I do. I do like it hotter than most. I just haven't. I don't cook much anymore. For the most part, I eat at work. So I'll eat some cereal or oatmeal in the morning. I'll have some fruit throughout the day before my workout and all that, and then I'll eat my meals at work when I'm at work. So I don't really use a lot of hot sauce right now because I'm not cooking. I hate cooking for just one person.
Hey, Rhino, do you have a slow cooker?
Yes.
Oh, go get yourself a pork tenderloin. It's going to cost you like $12 to $15, and throw it in the slow cooker. I don't know, put some barbecue sauce on the top of it or whatever. Put it on high for like 3 or 4 hours, and then when it's done, you'll probably have to take it out in parts, but pull it apart with 2 forks and put it back in the slow cooker with the juice, and put like a whole bottle of barbecue sauce in there, and you got food for a week, man. Pulled pork.
Well, I made lots of pulled pork in my time.
Oh, I love it. Tomorrow, it's on my brain because I'm doing that tomorrow.
I like using a nice stout or something as a meat tenderizer because the carbonation tenderizes the meat even more.
Dude, I've done that. I've made a ham with what was it? Oh, that brewery you guys don't like, Railway City or.
Well, it's not that I don't like the people there. It's
the
not
Black Hole Stout.
The Black Hole Stout is a good beer. I won't deny that. It's just Ray's a fucking piece of shit.
See, I thought there was a backstory, but who cares, right? But anyway, so you're right. Yeah, man. Dump a beer in there in the slow cooker with some ham or whatever. Woo!
Yeah, I enjoy cultural and history docs as well. Scoots. Al also loves learning anything new. You learned that I have white hair everywhere, Al, except for my butthole. Chris Lewis, is Blair's Ultra Death sauce better tasting than Mega Death on food as a condiment, one drop at a time? Which one's the top? Which one is it? Is it the Ultra Death that's the top? I can't remember off the top of my head. If Mega Death or Ultra Death is the top, because whichever one is the top actually tastes better than the one that's right below it. And I can't remember which way it goes. I think Ultra Death is the top, and it actually tastes better than Mega Death if I'm remembering it correctly. I'll have to go look at the thing. I just remember that the hottest one of their regular sauces was actually better tasting than the second hottest. I just remember that.
I need longer cords, man, for my headphone. I need a better set of headphones. That's my next purchase.
I don't have any boundaries at all, Al. That's part of my problem. The last doc series Scoots watched was Japanology and Japanology Plus from the UK on YouTube. Intriguing.
I dated a woman from Japan for 2 or 3 years.
Is that all the story's going to be? Is you dated one for 2 or 3 years?
Well, I mean, I think you know a lot about that, actually, probably. my trolling, you know. No, it was she was from Japan and went to school in Emporia, Kansas, to learn English, and then was in university. So when I met her, she had a Japanese Kansas accent, and it was like the craziest thing I've ever heard before. She was a great cook.
Okay, so here's a story because I like telling stories to you guys. So I walked into work on Friday, and I was in the slowest bar in the building on Friday. And when I walked into the bar, the bartender was telling 2 of the servers about how, you know, there's this one guy at work that walks around carrying a keg in each hand, They're like, no, those things are close to 200 pounds. There's nobody that carries a keg in each hand. He's like, yeah, it's Chad right here. They look at me and they go, you can't do that. And I'm like, can't do what? And they told me what he was telling them. And I go, yeah, I do that all the time. That's why I get in trouble when I work down in the basement. They're like, we don't believe you. I'm like, I could curl you girls. Like, you weigh nothing. They're like, no, you can't. Okay, let's go to the back room. So we go to the back room of the bar, right? And I have them, their arms and legs are wrapped around my arms. And I'm curling them in the back room. And our boss comes in. He's like, what the hell's going on back here? I'm like, oh, nothing. It's just a sexual harassment case waiting to happen. You know, put the girls down, walk away. Then I was working out on Monday before I got in the Blue Meanie costume. And you probably saw that I had tape all around on my arm, on my right arm. And it was doing athletic training and all that. I know where the different pressure points are on the arm. So I was trying to take pressure off my elbow because I fucked my elbow up working out on Monday. And I'm at work, and my buddy Luch it's the end of his shift, and he's taking his glass push down. So I'm trying to help him do his glass push, but I can't even make a fist with my right arm. So I'm holding like the trays, the bins of dishes with my left hand. I have my right arm completely under them. And he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I fucked my right arm up, man. I lifted something too heavy, and my elbow was just throbbing. And one of the servers, Alice, was in there, and she's like, what arm did you say you hurt? And I'm like, my right arm. She's like, that's the arm I was being lifted on, you fucker. I'm like, yeah, you were the heavy thing that hurt my arm. She was mad at me. I thought it was good.
That's funny.
Okay, next beer is from Merit Brewing in Hamilton. Beautiful brewery. I wish I could have tried more brews than this. This is Every Way Nectarine IPA. And this was the beer that got the highest mark for me tonight in my reviews. I gave it a 9.5. It's fucking fantastic. It was hard not to drink it all on camera.
Now, does it taste like the nectarine itself or the peel?
Both. All across the front of your tongue until you swallow, it's the sweet flesh of the nectarine. Then once you swallow, you get that oily, bitter, piffy taste. And
the LCBO has that?
No, this is sold only at Merit itself in Hamilton.
Oh.
I got to try 3 different beers. Well, one beer from each of the new 3 breweries in Hamilton, and I wish I could have tried more because all 3 of them made me very, very happy. And that was Fairweather, Merit, and Grain and Grist. All 3 of them make some amazing beer, and I wish that I could drive so I could go and get more because all those beers are great. I want to try everything they have now.
Well, we'll go, man. I got a reliable car, and I got a gas card too. They gave me.
Well, you don't have to worry about gas. I can pay that.
You know what my problem is that I'm deathly paranoid now of having a beer and getting behind the wheel.
I could see that. I mean,
I've been that way for the last 5 years, and I never used to be that way. And you know what? There was no pivotal point that brought me here, but this is where I'm at. And I mean,
even if like a lot of these places, you can even do the just visit for the day and not drink there because a lot of these places do everything in bottles. So it's great that way where you can just bring everything back and drink it at home.
Yeah, but then I'm scratching my skin real hard the whole time I'm there. Causing rashes, going, oh, I want one.
What do we have here? From Scoot Circus, a West Coast IPA has been recommended to me as a place to start with IPAs. Would you agree? Mill Street West Coast IPA, that is. See, for me personally, I like Vermont-style IPAs. Vermont-style IPAs are juicy. They have all the juice. That's juice, not Jews, you fucking assholes. All the juice. So they're very juicy. They're dank. They're thick. But they're very fruity. West Coast IPAs can be very fruity, but can also be very bitter. East Coast IPA is usually just very bitter, piney, floral. I don't really care for East Coast IPAs. If I was going east or west, I'd go west, of course. If I'm going, if I had to choose, though, I personally would go Vermont style, which is more like what this Nectarine IPA is. very, 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 very apparent taste of nectarine, both flesh and peel. It's very much more what I would want than the others. But yeah, you are right there, Al. Is the best way to start is to find a hop you like and start from there. Most people, when they're getting into things, it's like Equinox or Mosaic or even Citra to an extent, and you just lost your sound there, Mr. Angus Wangus. Belma tastes just like, if you find something with Belma hops taste like cantaloupe and honeydew. I'm glad you're grabbing a beer because you don't have any sound. Oh, I also ordered 2 beers from Stack Brewing. I'm sad that I had to order them as 6 packs because I mean it ended up costing me $50 to get 12 beers when I was only trying to get 2 beers. But I ordered their vanilla chai ale and their pumpkin porter, and I did the pumpkin porter just because again there wasn't many pumpkin beers this year, so I had to. What do we have here? I like malt and low IBU, so West Coast was given to me. Malt and low IBU sounds like a Belgians in your future from Al. In all honesty, towards things like IPAs, I would suggest if you really like low IBU beers to start with maybe some session IPAs because they're usually lower IBU. You're not going to find many IPA. No IPA is really going to be under 30 IBU, where a session IPA might be under 15 even. Usually you're going to look at between 40 and 100 IBU on most IPAs, regardless of style. You're looking at that. So it's one of those things where you really have to work your way up with hops. I mean, I'm a malt maniac. I love my Irish Reds. I love my stouts. I love my porters. But I do appreciate a really well-made IPA as well. And it takes time to get to that point. And you have to learn what hops you like and what hops you don't like because every different hop has a different flavor profile, and it's just learning what you like and what you don't like. For me, like I said, I like the fruity, juicy hops. I don't like. I can accept the earthy hops, but I don't like the piney stuff. I don't like the perfumey stuff, and I don't like the floral stuff. I'm all about the fruitiness or the earthiness, or I can even go to noble hops and do a little bit of that like cut grass flavor if I really have to. What do we have on here? Have you yet to differentiate the various hops? Belgians are very hit and miss with me. The wheats especially. The wheats really matter what wheats you're doing. I mean, there's a crystal Weizen, which is a filtered wheat, basically flavorless. There is the Hefeweizens, which are the German wheats, which don't add anything to the beers, which makes them fairly tasteless as well because you're getting all the flavor basically from the yeast. Your Belgian wits will usually add a little bit of orange peel and a little bit of coriander, give them a little bit more flavor. Whether or not you like that flavor is up to you, but it usually gives them a little bit more of a sweet flavor and a little fuller body. American wheat ales are basically like almost like a Hoffenweiss, and Hoffenweiss I don't like either. I don't like hopped wheat ales. If I'm drinking a wheat ale, I want it not to be hopped. I want it to be just a wheat ale. But that's, again, me, myself. As a malt guy, Irish Reds, stouts, dry Irish stouts especially. We still can't hear you, Mr. Angus Wangus. Porters, alt beers even, bitters, stuff like that is what I'm after for the most part. What do we have from Tango? My dog licked my eye yesterday. I washed it after it happened and it felt okay. Today I woke up and my eye was swollen and it feels as if my eyelid is being pinched whenever I blink. Um,
Can you hear me now, buddy?
sort of.
Damn it.
Maybe a pink eye, sir. Maybe a pink eye. Brimstone does make some nice stuff, as does Innocente. Brimstone just put out a new like cherry porter today, and I wish I could have gone out there to get it. They had some concert tonight that I was trying to go to. I even contacted Mike and Mel, who are the two people. Well, they're basically married. They're not married, but they're basically married. They're basically common law. But they're the two people that usually work for Brimstone for their events, and they both live here in the Falls. And I was trying to get them to bring me out just so I could get some cherry fucking porter. I would go to the show just to get cherry porter, and it just didn't happen. Porters and stouts have a very soy sauce taste to me. Some of them do. I won't deny that. Usually like Russian Imperial stouts will have it. They have a very, very, very thick flavoring. There is a bit of that soy sauce to it. There's a lot of like wood alcohol almost off of it. So I mean, I can see where some of them would give you that flavor. Double box usually give me the soy sauce flavor myself. What else do we have? Crystal Weizen and Hefts are good. Whips, you don't like. Again, sort of. You're cutting in and out, but you're there.
Damn it.
You touched your microphone and it fucked up.
I know. Dude, I unplugged it because it screeched the first time I went on here. Damn it.
And like Al said, it does sound like there's certain things you don't like, and just keep trying, because I mean everybody's going to find beers they love, and that's the thing with beer is unlike say liquor and wine where people are like, oh, the masses should like this. Beer is so complex that there is so much to go on with it, and there are people that love certain things and there's people that don't, and everybody can find a beer they like. That's the thing. You might not find a gin you like, you might not find a whiskey you like, you might not find a wine you like. But there's so many styles and so many different ingredients used in beer that you'll always find a beer you like. And it's finding what you enjoy and moving on from there and experimenting out from there. Always buying something you enjoy, but buying some new things too to try. That's the game with beer. Yes, and you're right on that too there, Al. Flavor perception is individual as well as very personal, because your paradigms, your life experiences really do change the way you taste things, because the scent will set off a memory, the taste will set off a memory. So your past really does affect the way you taste things as well. It's a weird mingling of your mind and your tongue and your nose, but because both when you're tasting something, it is both the scent of it as well as the taste of it that you're getting. What did you go and get, Mr. Angus Wangus?
Pardon me?
What did you go and get for beer?
Oh, you can hear me, man?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just another OV.
I need to go to the beer store and buy OV. I'm going to have to take the taxi there tomorrow.
No, man, no. I'll take you.
I get to see my kids tomorrow for an hour and a half. That'll be fun.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm excited. So now my record will be 4.5 hours in 7 months. That's what I will have gone to see my kids. I gotta find where I put their. They wanted fidget spinners, so I bought them fidget spinners, and I don't know where I put them. Since my ex-wife spends all my child support on fast food, when they want something, I have to buy it for them.
I saw the video you uploaded, man, and they're in the box. You threw them back in the box.
Oh no, they haven't been in that box for a while. They're somewhere in this room. I just don't know where. Like I said, usually Mondays and Tuesdays are my cleaning days, and I wasn't here Monday or Tuesday, so my house has had a week of not being cleaned. Luckily, it's just me living in it, so it's not actually that dirty. There's just some shit that has to get put back where it belongs, like that fucking sheet that's on my back door there, on my door back there. That's for the bed downstairs. I washed it, and when I was putting the laundry away, I just hung it there until I put the laundry away, and I just have to bring it downstairs, but I forget every time I go downstairs.
I hear
From Scoot Circus, beer used to taste like a copper penny for many, many years. That means you were drinking a lot of English beers, sir. No, but yeah, I understand that. Like, I didn't like the taste of beer for a very long time. I think that beer is a weird thing. Like domestic and import beer, the big macro stuff. A lot of that tastes quite a lot akin, and I think that that taste is something that a lot of people aren't used to or like. I didn't like it at all, really, when I started drinking beer. And it wasn't until craft beer came out that I started liking beer. And after liking craft beer, I was able to make myself enjoy some of the lesser beers, the beers that taste like beer, shall we say, the beers that are more widely available and more widely drank. It took a long time for me to even be able to appreciate any of them. But Old Vienna is one that stuck around forever. I don't mind the taste of that at all. I don't mind the taste of Export. Radlers, I love Radlers, and the Radlers I like the most are always macro Radlers. I'm not a big fan of the craft Radlers at all.
Hey, on the topic of Old Vienna, if I may, my buddy was in line buying some beer. I don't know, like, who knows, 7, 8, 9 years ago, whatever. And this old drunk farmer guy was in line in front of him. And you know, the beer store is like, I guess, living in Russia. You make your order, and the thing comes out on a chute, right? And the old drunk dude gets up there and he says, "Oh, 24 old banana." he's trying to order Old Vienna, and it sounded like old banana. And so my buddy he could tell that the beer store employee was amused, and so my buddy ordered 24 old bananas. And now, like, by this time, now you can go into the Port Colborne beer store and order 24 old bananas or 12 old bananas or whatever, and they'll know what you're talking about. Fucking, I laughed at that, man.
Scoot says Molson Golden and Export was the first to have a decent taste when he was a teen. Then it got bad again until my 40s. Al says Golden was only good in Wisconsin for him. Weird, but eons ago. No, Molson Golden did exist. Export is just Export. I mean, Molson Golden, I think you can still get Molson Golden. I don't know if they discontinued it, but you were able to get Molson Golden and Molson Export at the same time a few years back. Gonna have to look that up. Yeah, Molson Export was only available in Canada. It was never available in the U.S., where Molson Golden was available in both Canada and the U.S. Molson Brador was another one that doesn't exist anymore, really, that I enjoyed at times. I know a lot of Americans came up to Canada just for Molson Brador.
I lived in the United States for quite a while, like 12 or 14 years, working and going to school and stuff. And pretty much everywhere I went, in general, this is just a general statement, the most common Canadian beers that I could get at the liquor stores with a choice, you know what I'm saying, was Labatt Blue and Moosehead.
Labatt Blue and Moosehead, yeah. Al, I will not say that it was only because of the alcohol. So what Al just said is Brador was fun for the booze, tell the truth. Export was his domestic, and yeah, Export was probably my domestic as well. Molson Stock Ale was another one I didn't mind. You'll notice I like a lot of Molson products more than Labatt products, and I don't know why. Labatt products just don't sit well with me. I think Labatt 50 was one of the only Labatt products I could really drink. But I'm not a big fan of Blue. I'm not a big fan of Blue Light. Now, Molson's Old Style Pilsner, fuck that shit. That's one of the worst beers I've drank in a long time. From Al Ohm, malt liquor is best brewed in the U.S., and I would agree with you because my favorite malt liquor is from the U.S. It is Mickey's. I enjoy Mickey's fine malt liquor in the grenades with the riddles under the cap.
Hey, Rhino, I'd like to ask you and anyone else. I noticed in the liquor store, I didn't buy it the other day, but like I've had Freedom 35 before, which is a Trailer Park Boys beer, and I see now they have another malt liquor, and I forget what it's called, Ricky's.
It's Ricky's Catch 23.
Yeah, yes. Has anyone had that?
I hear it's horrible, but I do have a can of it in the basement for review, and I have a can of it in the fridge up here to drink at some point, just to drink.
You know what? I almost reached for it, and my spidey senses told me no.
From Nick, Labatt Blue hangovers give him the spins so bad, and I could see there has always been this rumor out there, and I was never able to get. Anytime I went to Steam Whistle for their test days, because Steam Whistle would do product testing where they would break things down to the molecular level, and they would test their beers and they would test competitors' beers to see what was in them. And I've always been trying to get them to do Labatt Blue when I'm there, because the rumor on the street is that Labatt adds histamines to their beers, which is why you get such a bad hangover. I don't know if they actually do, but again, that's been the rumor on the street for about a decade now. If you can find any brewery, any craft brewery, any bigger craft brewery that actually has a quality assurance lab, they'll be able to tell you if it's in there or not. But I don't know. I don't see any reason for them to do it other than it keeps you awake longer so you can drink more. But I don't know. I don't know if it's a rumor or not. I do know that the rumor on the street is also that Molson Export and Rickard's Red were basically the exact same beer with caramel coloring added. And I did ask at Steam Whistle was a guy that used to be one of the head brewers at Molson in Toronto, and he did tell me that one is true. But again, I've never found out myself other than from him. Ricky's Jump the Shark Ale is out this spring. The carb load, I bet, kills the brain with free radicals, rice and sugar. Pointless. What's going on? This chat is pretty pointless too. Don't worry. Again, question and answer. You guys ask us a question, we'll answer it, and it's story time. So we've already heard a few stories from Mr. Angus Wangus here.
Sorry, man.
No, that's what tonight's about. Stories and question and answers.
Well, I'd like to tell you my beer story. It kind of crossed my mind when you were talking there a minute ago, if I may.
Go right ahead.
Like I'm 46, over the hill kind of thing, and I haven't drank in like 6 years, Well, up until about 2 years ago. But prior to that, I used to drink beer. I loved it, you know what I mean? But it had to be the most watery, tasteless beer that I would drink, It was just like the dude said earlier, it tasted like copper pennies, I didn't like it. But guzzled it, with my friends and socially. So then I got away from it for about 6 years, didn't drink anything. And I've had back problems and needed to relax one day and get my back to crack. And I thought, geez, you know what? I'm going to go get a 6-pack. But I ended up grabbing an 8-pack of Guinness because they were 4%. And I thought, I've had one of these before. They're all right. Let me see. So I got into the third one and cracked my back, and all was good, So I regularly have a few beers in the evening so I can pop my back because it saves me from wanting to kill myself sometimes. But anyway, in the process, started learning that I like beer with flavor and found your channel. And, like I was into the stouts and porters and dark ales, and still am, like them. But then I started getting into the IPAs, like the real hoppy IBU or whatever you call it, Juicy Ass and Lone Pine. And like if I went to the liquor store here in town, there's not a big selection, but I would grab probably 3 or 4 alone pints, 64, 65 IBUs. I've really started to enjoy beers like that, but it's been kind of a journey for me the last couple of years. And in watching your videos, man, and listening to the people on the panel talk about, as much as I troll them, Average Joe, and everyone has a lot of good input, and all the others, Greg and Chris and everyone.
Well, one Greg has a lot better input than the other Greg.
I could make an argument there. I've heard some things that what you would call lesser Greg. Him and I should probably sit down and have a 12-pack, and talk about things.
No, nobody wants to talk to Greg. Come on.
I think he's my long-lost brother.
As much as I harass him, he's a good guy.
Anyway, that's my little beer story. So I'm like, dude, I know how to enjoy beer now. I'm learning more and more and more. I really shouldn't be on here talking about beer with you or anyone else,
No, you should be anywhere you want to be, man. That's the thing, right? Beer shouldn't have a bunch of snobs telling you what you should think and what you shouldn't think. You should just be chatting about things and learning, and that's about it. The only way to learn is to do it, and I mean, that's the truth about it.
I would get on the computer for about the last year and a half or 2 years and go to the LCBO site and choose. Like I used to live out south of Grand Bend there. That's where I moved from back home to PC. But anyways, I'd get on the LCBO site and check the different stores around there. Grand Bend actually had a really good store. Sarnia did too. But see what they had in stock, and I tried almost all of their stouts and porters and beautiful beers, man.
Ooh, there's a lot of stuff going on up here. 1 second. We were talking here, and there's a lot of comments that came through. I'm trying to keep up on the comments. From Al, my dad taught me brewing at 6 to 8 years old with root beer. He was making corn liquor and beer downstairs. Awesome. From Scoots, never tried malt liquor. Is there a freshness time limit to consider, such as keeping the age under 2 months or so? From Al, well, for you, Scoots, you want to. There's always an age thing to keep in mind with malt liquor. If it's under a year, you're perfectly fine. It doesn't matter. The problem is without the hops, it doesn't stay fresh very long. But again, it's usually macro filtered, so it's filtered to 100%. So there's not as much worry. But after a year, it probably just isn't as great. Your 2 months thing is usually for high IBU beers, for beers that have a lot of hops, because there's a lot of new age hops that fade really quickly, and that's where you're trying to get them really fresh. You might actually like them more once the hops fade than before they fade, but I mean, everybody's different, right? So if you want to taste them while they're tasting proper, a lot of IPAs are using new age hops, start losing their flavor between 1 and 3 months, mattering which hops they're using. From Al, then drink heed the corn liquor. That doesn't make sense, man. I'm Irish and I'm stupid, but that doesn't make sense. And I had the root beer. We were off to shoot some guns. Okay. Malt liquor is beer without the hops. The hops used to be a preservative, but now most commercial breweries is pasteurized, and that's true. Most breweries that are fairly large pasteurize everything. And if they don't pasteurize, they usually use something like DE Earth or canister filter or something. They're using something to filter. If it's completely unfiltered, that's when it's going to fade faster. But a lot of breweries do pasteurize. Pasteurize is the burning off of any bacteria in the beer. So bottle date doesn't matter. Again, on malt liquor, as long as it's within a year, you should be fine. Some malt liquors are better than others. Personally, I am when it comes to malt liquor, I personally enjoy Mickey's more than anything else. Mongoose was okay when it was around. Old English was the first malt liquor I had. Old English don't taste all that great. Colt 45 don't taste all that great. But Mickey's actually tastes fine. Mickey's tastes like beer. It tastes like what macro beer tastes like, just without the hops. And it's made by Miller. It's a Miller product. It actually Mickey's is great because they're in little grenades. They're in little green grenades, and it's okay that they're in green because they don't have hops, so they're not going to skunk. But they're in little green grenades with wide mouths, so you can chug them in like 2 seconds. And underneath every cap is a riddle. And the drunker you get, the harder that riddle is to solve. So it's always fun. And now I'm getting texts from girls. Ooh, girl texts. What's this one say?
Agent Twin?
No, not Ancient Twins.
Sorry.
So I do have a few different ladies I've been chatting up lately. 3 actually, 3 ladies I've been chatting up. And I'm not playing the field because none of them, I'm not dating any of them yet. I haven't done anything with any of them yet. Just chatting them up. And as soon as I start doing something with one of them, I'll stop doing things with the other 2 because, again, good Irish boy here. But yeah, this is one that's trying to get me to go hang out on Thursday night. I already have plans Thursday night, but I may just wash those off. I may.
Sure, man.
What do we have from Al here? I made a cider with beer yeast that could pass for mild malt liquor. That doesn't sound like a very good cider, but okay. Scoot Circus spent time testing ciders, but they all taste like latex. So I had Brickworks 1904 a few days ago. Pretty good. See, the latex you're tasting, then you are just like me. You are sensitive to sulfites. So you want to try and find breweries that cideries that use either no sulfites, which some of them do, or very little sulfites. The sulfites do have a latex rubber taste for anyone that's sensitive to them. Like say Strongbow. Strongbow tastes like I'm licking a condom. County Cider tastes like I'm licking a condom. Some of them taste like a beach ball, which is much better than a condom, but still not something I want to be drinking. But yeah, so everybody has a different sensitivity to different things, and sulfites are my sensitivity, and that's the reason why ciders usually are not really my thing. Now, the original Brickworks cider I loved when Brickworks was Brickworks. There was no sulfites in it at all. Once Labatt ended up buying Brickworks, sulfites started getting put into it, so I'm starting to taste things that I don't like tasting in them, because Labatt is all about shelf stability, right? So before Labatt bought them, they were shelf stable for about 4 months. Once Labatt bought them, they wanted to be shelf stable for 1 year to 2 years, so sulfites had to be added. So that's the problem, is that they're not as fresh anymore, but they do still have less sulfites and things like than a lot wineries. Wineries are the worst. If you get a cider that's made by a winery, and a lot of wineries make ciders because they don't have to have a different license to make it, so they have 2 products that they can make under the same license. Wineries use sulfites in every wine they make because wines sit on a shelf for years. So they use sulfites in every cider they make, and apples don't hide the flavor of sulfites as well as grapes do, and oak barrels do. So that's why you taste it so much more in a cider than in a wine. And oh my God, my right testicle is throbbing.
Is that a sulfite reaction?
No, that's a reaction to one of my meds. I'm making too much testosterone in one of my testicles.
Oh, nice. Well, Thursday you'll have that taken care of.
No, I'm not that dirty of a man. And Scoot says, yes, too many hot dogs makes my skin itch from the nitrites. And yeah, that's there too. Brutal on the chat, sir. Snarky is only one-sided. I can't bite back. I don't understand what you're saying there, sir. And good day, Cody Robinson. How are you? What's going on? Sup, as you will. There's been a lot of Robinsons in tonight. We've had a Kathy Robinson, a Laura Robinson, and a Cody Robinson. Lots of Robinsons. Lots of Robinsons. Oh. One second, guys. I'm just about done here. So what else should we talk about, guys? What else should we talk about? That sounded like Mr. Angus Wangus just took a pee.
Oh, fuck.
You just take a piss?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I heard the toilet flush.
Sorry. See, that's why I unplug everything when I went the other side. Busted. So, do you think Trump's going to make it back from Asia?
I don't know.
I mean, standing.
Why do you have a ox and two baseballs? Oh, you're saying I'm an ox with two giant balls. I got it. I got what you're saying there, Al. No, you've seen me. I'm not an ox. I'm tiny. I'm tiny. I'm not a big guy. I'm a small guy. From Scoot Circus, I really want to brew some cider, but the time requirements and ingredients kind of confuse me. You need apple juice, yeast, and sugar, and the sugar is usually to back sweeten, and you could even back sweeten with just more apple juice or more or things like that instead of sugar. But Al Ohm says the same thing right there: container, apple juice, yeast, and sugar. So many different recipes and opinions. Yes, Scoots, there is that too. With cider as well, the longer you let it sit, usually the better it is. Al started with used wine buckets and bread yeast.
So what do you
How
guys...
did the bread yeast go? How did the bread yeast go? I've never used bread yeast. I've used champagne yeast usually. Go ahead there. I'm keep interrupting you.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just wondering, like I live Port Colborne sort of on the fringe of being backwoods. And my family is from the country and whatever. Do they use like, what do you call it, crab apples? Like there are some really good crab apple trees that you could, I'm sure you could get a really good harvest off of a couple of trees you know, the country off the side of, like where your dad lived, off the side of the crop fields. You know, a lot of times there will be crabapple trees. Like, can you make a good batch of cider from something like that?
I don't know how much sugar is it. I haven't eaten a crab apple in years. It's how much sugar is in crab apples? I haven't had them in forever. I mean, are they sweet or are they really bitter? Because if they're really bitter, they're not going to work as well because they're not going to be sugar to ferment.
Okay, okay. Well, I do know, walking around out in the countries, what you ever seen the deer get drunk eating the apples that fall off the tree and ferment
Yeah,
on the ground?
the apples that ferment on the ground, always a fun thing to watch.
They get crazy, man. It's funny.
What else do we have from Al here? Well, from Scoot Circus, not sure if I should start with grocery store apples or find actual cider apple. Again, Al has answered some of this stuff to you, so I'm just reiterating what he says. If you buy, you can do it with apple juice as long as you get apple juice without preservatives. When you get apple juice with preservatives, once you ferment it out, you get even more of those fucking latex rubber flavors and other off flavors like burnt rubber or wheels or anything else like that. If you can find pressed cider that has no preservatives or apple juice with no preservatives, you can use that. You just have to hope that it's a company that actually uses no preservatives, or that instead of like with a beer company where they say no preservatives, but they have preservatives in it as long as it's under 1%, because they can do that with apple juice and stuff too. Al Ohm is it only looks hard until you try, then you wonder why you were nervous, and he's correct. You might make one or two horrible batches, but I mean you'll still drink them because they're alcoholic, and you'll learn with each batch. My buddy Paul, the cantankerous cook on the show, it took him 3 batches before he started making cider that was really good. His first batch was his punchy scrumpy, and his scrumpy was 8% alcohol, and it tasted like licking a battery. His next batch was his Perry, and it tasted like eating a condom. And then his third batch was beautiful. And yeah, even Al says here, juice without preservatives and giver. And then we got Scoots here. I heard grocery store apples make very sweet cider. I'm not sure if I want that. I like tart. Again, mattering what yeast you use, go to a brewing store and buy some good yeast. Throw it in. Once it's done fermenting, you now have a cider that's going to be very, very tart / very, very dry. If it was a good yeast, it's going to eat all the sugars in your cider, and it will do what it needs to do. And then you have to back sweeten it either with more apple juice or with sugar until you get it to the point you want it to be at. However, you probably want to crash cool it first so that your yeast does not start eating the sugars again. Wait for a sale on apple juice, $20 for 4 gallons from Al Ohm. Read up on fermentation. You choose the final gravity by adding sugar, and what he's saying is fully true there. Bull and Balls, Old Eyes. It was good. EC 118 is good, or a good beer yeast. US 05 is good, but some of the Belgian yeasts are fantastic with cider. And you are correct. Some of the Belgian yeast are fantastic with cider. I usually use wine yeast or champagne yeast when I make my cider because I like my cider to be a little more carbonated. But that's personally me. You do whatever you want to do. What do we have here? Stock Top Brew. Cody Robinson is drinking a Headstock. Okay, he got it right there. I mean Headstock. Yeah, Headstock is nice, especially because it has Equinox hops in it now, and I like Equinox hops. So there we go. I like it dry, never back sweetened any of them from Al. I like mine to be off sweet, so I back sweeten a little bit. I don't like full dry. I like a little sweeter. I don't like full on sweet, but I like a little sweeter than full on dry. Cody, where are you from? What part of Ontario are you from if you're getting Headstock? Or you could even be in the US getting Headstock. My phone is still going off. Who the fuck's talking to me now? Is it my dad or is it that girl? Let's find out.
Booty call. All of a sudden, Chad has to go.
No, I don't. I told you I don't do stuff like that. I need to be in a relationship. I'm a good Irish boy.
That's an oxymoron, isn't it?
Unfortunately, it kind of is.
Sorry. Oh, jeez.
Okay. Yeah, it was Lindsay again. Everything's done. I'm done. My dad probably my dad probably passed out drunk in his chair. That's probably why I'm not getting comments from him anymore. He still had 20 Old Vienna when I left his house, so
He just rolled over again, man.
I downloaded a bunch of Irish stuff for my phone, and I can't find any of it. I downloaded a bunch of different Irish things, and because I actually my ringtone is actually an Irish song, but I downloaded a bunch of different things to use for my notification right after I left the funeral and everything. Because again, my family is fairly traditional, so I did that because basically me and my dad are the two black sheep of the family. And it is what it is, right? Like my dad's a biker. He's in an Irish biker gang, but he's still a biker. And I'm a just a crazy guy that does a lot of stupid things. So the two of us are
quite an associate now, man.
We're the two of us are quite I'm an associate of that group. The two of us are quite alike, except he has vision and I don't, and I'm like 3 inches taller than him and probably 100 pounds bigger. But I'm the giant of the family. We actually took a picture of him, his sister, and me standing beside each other, and I tower over both of them, and I'm like wider than both of them combined. And it is what it is, right? I apparently take after my great grandfather. He was the size of the family, and that's who I took after. And everybody else in the family has been tiny. But we're the black sheep. We're the two that have done stupid things, and yeah, we're the two that get looked down upon by everybody else.
How you learn? You make mistakes.
Peterborough. I was actually in Peterborough yesterday on my way home. Yeah, I actually was going to stop at a few Peterborough breweries and pick up some beer, but Tracy wanted me to stop, but I just wanted to get home. Tracy wanted to hang out in Niagara Falls, so I told her to just drive me home. But yeah, I was in Peterborough yesterday, and yeah, it's a borough, all right. It's a borough. We almost ended up in Oshawa because we missed a turnoff. She was trying to jump onto the 407 now that the 407 goes back so much further. And once she got on the 407, the entire time on the 407, she's like, "Oh my God, I don't care that this cost me money. This is taking like an hour and 25 minutes off our trip. This is fucking fantastic. I'm doing this every fucking time I drive down here. I'm going to get a transponder because I got to go to Mississauga once a week. This is fucking amazing. It's just going off." Okay, Tracy. I called Jeff, my buddy. He was the best man at my wedding and all that. And I'm like, "Your mom's going insane about the 407. Has she not ever driven on the 407 in her life?" He's like, "Yeah, she doesn't like paying money. She's a Welsh woman." You know, it's
I gotta say, the 407 is a pretty fucked up concept, man.
Well, she hates the 407 and loves it at the same time. She hates the 407 because she doesn't like that some people can afford it and get places faster, where people that can't afford it have to take longer to get places. That's what she doesn't like about it. But I can understand that completely because it's the same type of thing as I feel. Like, I hate that, some people will have that privilege where they have the money to do whatever they want and some don't. Here's me, my dad, and my aunt. I'm going to screen share this, even though it shows everybody what my name is on Facebook. I don't even care. I'm going to screen share it. People can figure it out anyway. It's not hard to find out who I am. There you go. That's me, my dad, and my aunt. And yeah, the wind was blowing really hard. It's not that my suit doesn't fit me right. It's that there's a lot of wind. There's a lot of wind.
I see the similarity in the faces, dude.
Yeah, actually, you know what? That's the one thing that his entire biker club said was that we're spitting images of each other, other than the fact that I'm much bigger than him. I mean, I can accept that, I suppose. I suppose. What the hell is this thing? What is this? I just found a file, a folder on my computer that I had no idea existed. I don't even know what's in it. The fuck are you doing? You have no sound again, just so you know. No sound for you. Hey, we'll do this too. For you guys that weren't, oh no, he's back. For you guys that weren't privy to the picture he's speaking of from the vlog, here was my Halloween costume.
Yeah.
So there's the beginning of it before I did the rest.
Rhino?
There we are. There we are with the face paint on. Unfortunately, my dog is basically in every single picture I take. She comes as soon as she sees the camera. She's like, "Oh, I want to be in this." Again, me and my dad at the wake. Pictures from the sing along, the family sing along. Me and the dogs in my buddy Glenn's vehicle. There we go. Deep fried cheese curds. Those things were horrible. I ate so many of them that it's not even funny. Destroyed my diet. And there I am in my associate shirt.
With the fork on your wrist.
Yeah, I had already made the fork bracelet by then.
Nice, good times, buddy.
Oh yeah, we had. Oh yeah, my dog. That's my mom's house. So that's Boris the boxer in the windowsill. The windowsill is about a foot deep, and yeah, he was up in it. And then he beat up his sister. Oh, and then my flowers. Okay, there we go. We're done.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about your grandmother, Rhino. My grandmother passed away a few years ago as well, but I'm glad that you got to commune with your family.
Oh wait, last picture right here. This is Chris picked me up for work. That's his face after he picked me up for work.
Oh,
but yeah, you know what? She lived a good life. I can't be sad about that. As I said earlier, the thing that bothered me is with my BPD. She was the only lady in my life only person in my life that I ever didn't feel the irrational fear of rejection or abandonment from. So that's the thing that hurts me the most with her being gone. But other than that, she lived a good life. She lived a long life. She did a lot of great things. Nothing was easy for her. She lost her husband when she was 35. He was 35 as well. He died of a massive heart attack. So my dad being 63 and me being 35, and a few months older than what my grandfather was when he died, we're both doing better than he did. So we'll see how things go with that. Apparently, I should probably go to the doctor and get checked, since my great grandfather died of a heart attack, my grandfather died of a heart attack, and my dad's had 3 heart attacks himself. So I probably should go get checked, but I just haven't yet.
How could you not have been to your family doctor, being through what you've been through, on on the other scale of things? I don't understand that. I haven't been to a family, and believe me, I'm speaking from a guy. This is coming from a guy. I never went to a doctor ever in my whole life since I was a little boy, and then I recently went. Within the last 3 or 4 years. And he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He x-rayed me and MRI'd me and sent me to a orthopedic surgeon. And like, what are you doing to yourself? You know what I mean? So how could you have avoided that, Rhino?
I'm of the belief that if I don't know, it's better than knowing and worrying.
You know what? That's where I was coming from too. Now I'm like, listen to me preaching to the. It's where I was not too long ago, dude.
Well, I mean, the females in my family live till their 90s, so I mean, it's just the males that have the problem. I mean, go with that. But my great grandfather, he as I said, he died of a heart attack as well, but he was in his 60s, so he actually made it good for that time of year, that time of life as well. I mean. My dad didn't have his first heart attack until his 50s, so he made it further than his dad as well. And my dad was not good on himself. He drank a lot because he was purebred Irish. He was right from Ireland. He drank all the time. He ate shit all the time. I ate shit for a good deal of my life, but I like I said, I've dropped 40 pounds in a couple months already. I'm doing the things I needed to do to change. Every once in a while, things like deep fried cheese curds come into my life, and I knew I shouldn't eat those right when I saw them, but I had to. There was no choice. It needed to be done. And the next morning, the shits I had the next morning were horrendous. What do we have? Malton in Montreal says he was live. You should have told me you were live. I had the night off. I could have joined you. Hopefully your show was good. Tango, Rhino, what's the most you ever squatted? Are we talking full-on squat, or are we talking like hip sled? Because we're talking full-on squat, it was good, but not that good. If we're talking the hip sled, which is a squat without having to balance yourself because it's basically a machine, it was amazing. But yeah, I'll answer that when we get down to what you answer there. How are you, Mang? I'm good, Malted. I'm good. How about yourself? Nice cock shot there. Who had a cock shot? There was a cock shot?
Probably. Well, there's only one other here.
Perspective of a fish being reeled in. Laughed my ass off. That was great. Saw the vlog. Can't remember where Blue Meanie was from. The Beatles, was it? No. Well, the Blue Meanie was from the Beatles, from the Yellow Submarine cartoon. But the Blue Meanie I was the wrestler from the 90s. Actually, here I can get you that. I can screen share that too. Give me 1 second, and we'll get to more comments after this. I will show you the Blue Meanie. Now, I did get a few people that knew who I was at work who asked why I wasn't wearing crop top or Daisy Dukes, to which I said I do not believe that work would appreciate me as a 300-pound man in Daisy Dukes or crop top. I don't know for sure, but I just don't think they would appreciate that. If I knew that I could get away with it, like I knew I wasn't going to get fired if I wore a crop top or Daisy Dukes, I would have wore a crop top or Daisy Dukes. Anyway, screen sharing now. Bang. Let's come over here. So this was him when he was 380 pounds. This is him now, which is more what I was doing. What other pictures of the Blue Meanie? There he is in the ring. This is him after he had his face busted open by JBL. Because him and JBL hated each other. This is him now when he wrestles in the Independents. Another Blue Meanie picture. So this another Blue Meanie picture, which is what everybody was hoping I was coming as. That just wasn't happening. That was never going to happen. It probably would have gotten me good tips, but it just wasn't going to happen. Again, now, and he is an actor. He's been like 70 movies as of now as well.
Oh, you're better than him, man.
Him and JBL, now that they're friends and they don't hate each other and want to kill each other. Front and back shot of his action figure. That's the Blue World Order, which is his little stable. My arms are also twice the size of his, so I mean, I'm doing better than him. And yeah, this is the Beatles cartoon version of him. That's what he stole his character from.
Really? So it goes back to the Beatles?
Yeah, it goes all the way back to the Beatles.
Right on.
What else do we have here? That was looks like what looks like a great setup. I don't even know what we're talking about now, Al. I'm lost. I'm lost on what we're talking about. Oh, that's who Cody Robinson is. Okay, good day, Cody. What's going on? Hello, Donna. I'm used to seeing A Fury, not Cody Robinson. Sorry to hear. Still miss my Graham. Yeah, it's same thing. Only family member that got me and me her. Yeah, that's the thing, Al. That was the thing. She was the only one that no matter what I did, no matter what I said, no matter how I felt, she accepted me. It did. I actually was able to talk to her. She was the only person before the psychiatrist diagnosed me that knew what was going on with me, because she was the only one that I was actually able to speak to. She was the only one that accepted me no matter what. She was the only one that knew that I wasn't a bad person, that accepted that there was just different things that went on. And my dad is a good guy. He just comes off as a bad guy because of the things he's done as well. It is what it is. From Scoot Circus, similar things to you, but nobody like her in my life. You're lucky. Yeah, and you know what, man? When I was doing part of my eulogy, the first thing my eulogy was here. I don't think I'm going to read it all because there was some very very personal things in what I wrote. But I'll read you some of what I wrote here because I just took a bunch of notes, things that I was thinking about. I lost a lot of time with my grandmother and this side of the family, and that's due to my mother and her not letting me be part of that family and telling them if anyone in that family tried to talk to me, she wouldn't let anyone see me. So I did lose a lot of time with them. Then I moved down here, and distance was a huge thing, especially since I can't drive. My ex-wife didn't want to ever drive up there. I lost a lot of time with my entire McGee side of the family. I still had a lot of the traditional feelings they had and traditional cultural things they had because my grandmother did teach them to me before I was blocked off from them. But yeah, I lost a lot of time with them. Anyway, but she did everything in her power to bring us all together. She had an unbelievable strength to show love and brighten a mood in her little body. She was tiny to begin with, but when she died, she was 60 pounds. She did not look like what I remembered at all. Maybe old Irish lady, right? They're always tiny. She might have been 90 pounds at most when I remember her. I'm blessed that she was my grandmother, as she never gave up on me, being part of the family, and she never let me feel unwanted. The loss of one of the most loving souls that I was ever lucky enough to know hurts deeply, but the lessons she taught me, especially the lessons of loving everybody you bring into your life as family and not caring about any emotional, environmental, or uncontrollable obstacle, will be with me until the day I die. I can only hope to love as much as she showed. That's just me paraphrasing the bottom because I don't want to get into that. And I'm not going to get into it all. But yeah, so that was part of my eulogy shit. And yeah, she was special to me, and I did lose a lot of time with her. I wish I hadn't, and it's just now time to make up for lost time, basically. I I've only been to 2 funerals. I don't like funerals. I don't do well with dead bodies at all. I don't do well with death. It's part of my thing. I don't do well with it at all. And the 2 funerals I've been to was her mom and her, and so the McGee side, just the losing of different Irish people in the family, and that's where I've been. Everything in moderation, including doctors, in my opinion, from Al. And yeah, I can see that. Tango, why do males generally die younger than women? Because we have to deal with women's bullshit. That's why. And then Al, risk tolerance. Men are far more stupid and die more frequently. And yeah, I could agree with that. And Al says he's a man, so he will say men are stupid on average. Yeah, you know what? We were talking stories. We were telling stories about the things we've done. And me and my dad have done a lot of the same things, but he went a little further than me. And you got to remember as well when I tell these stories that he's in his mid-60s. So I mean, drinking and driving was normal when he was a kid. And I'm not condoning it. It's just interesting stories that were told. And him and my cousin Bob were sitting there telling us stories. My second cousin Bob, my dad's cousin. And Bob's telling stories about his first time in a car with Harold, which is my dad. And he's like, yeah, we're driving down the street and the cops are pulling up behind us. And your dad's like, get rid of the beer. And I'm like, Harold, there's 19 pints. How do I get rid of 19 pints? He's like this. And he rolls down his window, puts his arm out the window and throws his bottle out after he stopped, right? And Bob's like, the bottle does 4 full flips in the air and lands perfectly upright on the trunk of the car as the cop is walking up to us. Cop picks up the bottle, walks up to the driver's window and says, do you guys have beer in the car? And your dad, being the smartass he is, says, no, it's outside the car. So, like, that's the type of shit that my dad would do. And then he's like, the second time we got pulled over for drunk driving, your dad's driving down the road and the cops are chasing us. And your dad says, Bob, grab the wheel. So I grab the wheel. And then he says, Bob, put your foot on the gas. So I put my foot on the gas. Then he climbs out on the hood of the car, crawls across to the passenger seat, starts crawling in the window and tells me to move so that I'm in the driver's seat. Like the cops didn't see this happening.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Man, that's funny.
Then they were talking about the Braeside Pit, which is near where I live. Like, my mom's in Braeside. And the Braeside Pit's a giant pit. It's literally a giant sand pit. And they had a car that had no seatbelts, no nothing, right? And they're like, push Harold down the pit, right? Because Harold, he's sitting in the driver's seat. And he's like, push me down. So they push him down. And it's going and going and going. And what they expected it to do was to, like, just keep going and come up the other side. That's what they were expecting it to do because they're dumb, drunken Irishmen. And the car gets to the bottom of the pit, and it embeds its fucking hood into the ground, crumples a little bit, and then falls down on its front. So they all come running down the pit to see if he's even alive. And he's apparently wedged between the dashboard and the floorboards laughing because he's so concussed he has no idea what's going on. Like, that was my dad. That was my dad. So when I do stupid things, it makes sense, It must be bred into us. Now, Tango, you never really answered which type of thing you were looking for. The squats. And Cody stopped talking to us. Cody doesn't like us anymore. He was like, "Fuck these guys. Nobody likes those albinos. Those albinos and those old guys from Port Colborne." But I mean, I never did stuff quite as stupid as I've done some stupid things, but never quite as stupid as him. I mean, it is what it is. Did you just fart, dog? Really? Don't look at me like that. You just farted. Gonna take the tops out for another pee. Let's get the cell phone up. I'm going to grab a beer from the fridge while we do that because, I haven't drank in a while. I've been out of drinks for a while now. They're all out. So let's turn this on here. Hangouts. Again, if anyone wants to join, tell me. I'll send you the link. If anyone wants to join, I can get you in here. Don't know how much longer we'll be online, but I'll probably be chatting for a while. So if you want in, again, send me Alrighty, let's take these puppies outside to pee. Come on, guys. Come on.
Can you hear me, Rhino?
I can hear you, sir.
Are you going to pee off the deck?
I don't do things like that. I'm a well-behaved gentleman.
Sorry.
Let's go, Helga. Go pee-pee. Ooh, it's starting to rain.
Oh, no way.
Is it raining in port?
I don't know, man. I haven't been outside. I don't hear things I'm back in my house now. I was living in a mobile home for 5 years. I sort of escaped out to Lake Huron for 5 years. And living in the mobile home, I knew when it was raining every time. That's for sure. But now I don't anymore. Look at you. What are you doing?
I was trying to turn my sound back on with my nose. That just wasn't working. I was wiggling my head and my ears. Helga, go pee-pee. You're still up here on the deck. Go pee-pee. Go on, girl. I know it's raining and you don't like the rain, but go pee-pee. Come on. I don't want to walk in the rain either. Come on.
Okay, I'm going to go look and see if it's raining here. Hang on.
Okay, you go check if it's raining. Oh, there's a bone out here. Not good. Helga, get back here and pee. Come on. Come on, girl. Go pee-pee. You don't have to pee, Boris. You already did.
That's a negatory.
No? So it's just here in Niagara?
Yeah.
Good girl, Helga. Okay, now we can go inside. Now we can go inside.
Which is sort of weird.
Well, yeah, because usually your area, like Fort Erie, Port Colborne, all that stuff, that usually gets more rain than Niagara.
And snow.
I gotta take my pills before I get a new beer. So let's do that. What did I just do? There we go. Oh, look, it's my flowers. Oh, it's my flowers from work.
Wow, man, are those orchids?
They are. They spent a lot of money on my flowers.
That's awesome, man. I used to have a couple orchids. They're awesome flowers to have. As gay as that sounds. They really are, though. You know what? I think my mom rifled them from me when I moved.
Yeah?
Well, I'm just trying to remember. I liked them. The orchid is the plant on the earth that has the most species, like 40,000 species of orchid.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of orchids.
Yeah, something like that. Don't quote me. Ballpark.
I'll take this beer with me. There we go. I don't know if there's a bottle opener in my room. This could be bad. I need to go and buy a mop. I need to buy a mop. I don't want to walk down the street with a mop, so I don't have a mop. But I destroyed my mop. And I have dirty dog prints all over my floor. And I'm back. I am back.
Welcome back. So what's it spitting then?
It's spinning. Yeah, it is raining here. We already talked about that, Al. I was outside talking about it raining here. You live down the street from me, so if it's raining here, it's raining there. Come the fuck on. You missed my stories about my dad. That's what you missed. What do you think of the new cherry Tom Green beer from Creeper Love? I got a bottle of it downstairs. I just haven't drank it yet. I hear it's good. I haven't drank it yet though. I liked his summer stout. I liked his summer stout much more than I liked the regular milk stout. So yeah, I'm sure I'm hoping I'm gonna like this. I shouldn't say I'm sure. I'm hoping. Do I have a bottle opener on this desk at all? I usually have like 16 of them. Where the fuck are they all? There we go. We have the broken one. The broken bottle opener will work.
Yeah, man, you're a strong man. You can do anything.
Well, I could do it with my teeth, but you know, I don't have a dentist appointment for a while, so I don't want to do that.
You want to hear something funny? Like a year ago, when I found your videos, I made a bottle opener, and my thoughts in making it were that it was going to be for you. And I went to a flea market. What happened was I went to a flea market and found a old Molson Canadian bottle opener for $1. So I bought it and I brought it home. This is where I moved from. And I took my angle grinder and I ground it down. Well, basically cut it off and rounded it off, and then drilled some holes in it and screwed it to a end of a hockey stick. And I wrapped the end like the end you would wrap the butt, right? And I thought I'm going to mail this to Rhino, and I wanted to find a Ottawa Senators insignia of some sort, but it's on my fridge. I open every beer with it, actually. So if I come see you, I'll bring it to you.
Shout out to Toronto there, JSHL TV. What's going on, sir? I'm going to be going offline soon, so if you're still around, I'll post you the join link. I'd post it now, but I forget the email and all that to send it to you. And I don't think yeah, Google still isn't working. It's still not popping anybody up. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with it. I don't understand. And for fuck's sakes to yourself too, Al. Summer Stout was the better of the three. Hopefully, if Summer was the better of the three, that the Cherry was at least the second best of the three, because it's not hard to beat the original Tom Green Milk Stout. It's really not. I am thinking I need to hopefully make some tip money this week, but I am thinking there, GSHL TV, to do the Cult Moo Toronto Fire Challenge of the 7 in 15, since, you know, I did 6 in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. But they did Corona, 7 Coronas in 15 minutes, and Corona tastes like shit. But I really don't want to have to go and buy 2 12-packs of Corona. That's the only reason I haven't done it yet. Well, sorry, 2 6-packs. I don't want to buy 12 Corona is what it comes down to. But yeah, I'm thinking about doing it, and if I do it, you should do it too. I know it's not malt liquor, but it's a chug challenge. You should do it. And I'm probably gonna buy a 12-pack of Mickey's and try and do a chug challenge with the Mickey's with some people, because Mickey's is a malt liquor that I actually really, really do enjoy. So because they're in the grenades, they go down so fucking fast that they can be fun to do with the chug on. I just can't do them cold, because when I did my five grenades way back when, they were all fucking cold as ice, and it fucking burnt my throat. What else do we have to talk about? Anything? Anyone of you guys want to actually join us when we go offline? That's when I tell stories that I can't say online. There's usually a bunch of good ones. But there is things that I can't talk about online, so I just I don't. Where the fuck did those things save to? I can't find them for the life of me. I saved a bunch of ringtones and shit, and I can't find them.
Damn it, I was going to ask you something. Now I forget.
Am I albino? Is my pubes white? Yes, we've already gone through this.
Did someone actually just ask you that?
No, but that's a question I get asked all the time, so I bring it up every once in a while. Yeah, it's one of those things where, like I said, people ask about it all the time, and it's, oh, what do I do? Do I just pretend it didn't get asked, or do I just bring it up? So I bring it up just to piss people off.
Guess who?
Guess who? Actually, do you want to hear the one that got me in trouble? I'll let you hear the text message notification that got me in trouble at work, because it went off at the bar and somebody complained. And how they even heard it, I don't know, because I put my phone like on the far back bar, so nobody should be able to hear it, but somebody somehow did. And
you can run, but you can't hide, bitch.
Well, that one got me in trouble.
That was the one?
Yeah, that was the one. Of all the things I've had on this phone, that was the one that got me in trouble.
See, but who would complain about that?
Some customer heard it and complained, and I got in trouble. Like I said, I don't know how they've heard it, because, again, I put my phone so far away that nobody even on the bar hears it when it goes off. Like, I set my alarm for my meds, and nobody hears my alarm go off. Like, and my alarm's a lot louder than my fucking text message, like, notification.
Because that message really didn't say anything except bitch, which is actually, bitch has a dictionary definition, right? Like a female dog or something or other.
Yeah, there's a bitch sitting on my foot right now.
Yeah, so.
There's a fucking dickhead pawing me. What do you want? What do you want? You're a good boy.
Now, if your phone said dickhead, it may be a different story.
Just sitting there pawing me. So that's what he does. He likes to touch you with his giant paws. It's like, hey, I'm right here. Don't forget about me.
Hey, Rhino, the guy just kitty corner across the road from me has a white boxer.
Oh, does he?
Yep.
That means his boxer carries all the genetic defects.
Yes. Yeah. I haven't talked to him, but I've seen.
They are good-looking dogs, though.
Yeah, man, I see it, and it's just a puppy, like puppier than Boris, younger than Boris.
Yeah, Boris is what? He's 6.5 months old now.
Yeah. There's no mistaking what he is, though.
No, it's hard to mistake a boxer, unless you're like one of my neighbors that calls the fucking Humane Society on me and says I have a fucking pit bull. Apparently, according to them, there is such thing as a brindle pit bull.
Well, your neighbors sound like they need a visit from the funny man. I don't mean you. I mean another funny man.
Another funny man. I'm not a funny man. I'm just here. Oh, what should I do? Should I order some pizza? I did so well all weekend. I did so well for the last few months, and now I want fucking pizza. I want Boca Bites. I want pizza Boca Bites.
Sounds expensive.
Boca Bites are only $3.
Oh. Hmm.
I don't need them. I just want them.
Yeah. I hear you.
I think it's. I had those 4 days in Ottawa where I wasn't watching my diet. Like I ate a lot of fast food and well, not fast food. Sorry, a lot of deep fried stuff that I haven't eaten in months, and now it's there. It's like, oh my god, I want it. Like I had like 4 poutines in my 4 days up there. I haven't had fucking fries in months. It's been like 6 months since I had fries, and I had 4 poutines in 4 days. And I had deep fried cheese curds and like shit like that I never eat anymore. And I'm like, oh my god, it's all back in my body. Oh
Yeah.
Creeper Love. What do you think of Arch Chesterfield? I like it. I have a can of Arch Chesterfield downstairs. I haven't drank it yet though. So ask me this question in a week or two, and I'll be able to answer your question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I feel about it yet because I haven't had it. The artwork looks cool, and the name Chesterfield just gives me a smile. I mean,
Yeah. That's what my grandma used to call the couch.
it's a Canadian word for couch.
Yeah.
It's our Chesterfields.
Quit jumping on the Chesterfield. Yeah, for sure, man. I love my grandma too, man. It's close with her. She died about 3 years ago, and I know what you're going through.
I'm sorry about that, sir.
No, I'm just saying it's part of life. You can't be alive unless you die.
I'm gonna live forever. It's okay. I'm not going to. I have that magical power because I'm albino. I'm gonna live forever. Good night, Al. Have a good night. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this here join link. Me and Angus Wangus here will talk a little bit more after we get offline. But here's the join link. You guys are more than welcome to join us and chat some more. The more people that join, the longer I'll stay awake. That's basically the way it goes. So there's the join link. Have a wonderful night, guys. I am going offline. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for chatting with us. Thank you for putting up with me. Au revoir. I'll be on toast. See you soon. Bye-bye.